Hey guys, so we're back again with another reading, and I also wanted to show you guys some of the magical practices I use to prepare, like using Florida water, which is a great cleanser of energy, as well as pouring myself some rose tea to set some Venus energy for this space. So you can see all the things I use to prepare, and I also wanted to mention to you guys that this reading is sponsored by Keen. In my last Keen reading, the woman was able to tune into the energy of my grandmother, tell me exactly where in my room she stands, and that she watches out the window and sees the view and was able to describe it, which was so cool to hear that she really is with me and get that confirmation of exactly what she sees. There are some incredibly talented readers on Keen. They have tarot readers, clairvoyants, psychics, and the great thing is you can call them any time of day, whether it's a late night or maybe an early morning and you want some guidance for the rest of your day. They also have a variety of price ranges. So if you want to go to the top of that price range and book a few minutes with a very top famous psychic, you are going to be paying a little more. And then they also have all kinds of readers at different prices all over the spectrum. So it can be very affordable and a great way, especially if you need a quick question answered. And I actually have my deal down below, which is $199 for a 10-minute reading, which is absolutely insane. You will not find any psychic charging those kinds of prices, but they really vet and do a great job finding readers. So I definitely highly recommend it. And my favorite thing is to develop a relationship with someone, find someone you just vibe with, or you like their energy. And sometimes, you got to talk to a couple different people, but it really is worth it to have that personal psychic that you can call. They know your energy, they know your history, and you can rely on them for some guidance. So like I said, I highly recommend Keen. I've had great experiences with them, and let me show you guys how easy it is to sign up. So guys, you're just going to click get started, then you are going to say your mood, then you say the kind of topic you want a reading on, and then you click the kind of advisor you want. Today I'm going to go with medium. Then they show you all the options. You can scroll through, get all the information you could ever want. Then you just click on chat now, and it's literally that easy. So guys, I hope you will give Keen a shot and try that out because it's an amazing resource, and everyone should speak to a psychic at least once in a while to get some clarity and guidance in that second opinion, and just can't recommend them enough. So definitely go for it, especially if it's your first time. They're just amazing. So anyway, with that being said, let's talk about the energy of this reading. We are tuning into the energy of your future spouse, when you're going to meet, how you're going to meet, what's going on, all the details we can figure out. We are going to get them for you today. If this is your first pick a card reading, you want to go to the pile that is calling your name, the one that you feel energetically drawn to. Go ahead and click on that. And we have a selection of pick a cards, just cards for you guys to choose from today. So like I said, if it's already calling your name, skip to that point. I think that's all I have to say at this point. So yeah, let's just jump into pile one. Hey, pile one. So if you guys picked this card, this is going to be your reading. It is surrendering to the journey, release control. And for your tarot, you got the Four of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Swords, the Sun, the King of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. So one thing I can say right away is that you are going to meet this person when you're in a position of financial wealth yourself, I believe. It could also be a situation in which they're just so wealthy and you meet them in very wealthy surroundings. So like maybe, you might be broke and you go to a really expensive restaurant in town or something, and that's where they are. But for a lot of you guys, I feel this person is going to come in once you have some money of your own, or again, in just very luxurious surroundings. So it would just likely, what's coming to mind to me is like you have your own money, you are, vacationing at a luxury resort or that kind of a thing. You meet them by the pool, or you have your own money, you're out at the best place in town, you see them. But it could definitely also be a situation in which they just have a lot of money, you happen to be running into them at some place, and things go from there. But honestly, I really am getting, for a lot of you guys, this might come in a little bit later in life, or if you guys earn money really early, it could come in at like 21, 22. But for a lot of you guys, I'm thinking this would be like in your 30s or after a point when you have reached some financial status yourselves. And there's a message here that this is going to be so worth the wait. I think it's really interesting that we got the Nine of Swords directly following followed by the sun. So I can tell that some of you guys might be having sleepless nights or worrying a lot about like, when am I going to meet them? Am I too old? Have I missed the mark? Like, am I going to run out of time? Oh my gosh. And sometimes maybe some of you guys are intuitive. And even if you're young, if you're having these worries, maybe it's because you know that, maybe they're not going to come in right away, but they are going to be so worth the wait. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I can tell you guys right now that this person is really sexy. We got the King of Wands. So they might have even been a little bit of a player before they meet you, but they are going to want to lock it down with you. They are going to probably be really amazing in bed and very like highly coveted individual. And so I kind of think this is why the vibe I'm getting is it's almost like maybe they're used to splashing out on cash and really impressing a lot of people. But since you have your own money and since you guys have your own status and your own cash, you're like, okay, it doesn't mean anything to me. And so you're not as easily impressed. And then they love the challenge. They love the fact that you are not so easily won over, because a man like this or a woman like this who's used to just having whatever they want with like the snap of their fingers and having no problems at all, they like that little bit of a challenge. That's exciting for them. That's like, my usual technique isn't working. So this is interesting, So it's like you have their attention, you have their interest. Whereas I feel like they're used to getting people really easily, used to just being very sexy and turning on the charm and, knowing what to say. And so usually people, fall into their arms pretty quickly. Whereas with you, you are a lot more, you've got your own thing going on. You guys feel very like confident and happy and honestly independent. And I do feel like a lot of you guys with the Four of Cups already have a bit of a psychic connection with this person. You might have felt them in the astral realm. You might have also felt them in your dreams. But there's a strong lesson from Spirit not to rush with surrendering to the journey, release control. I'm hearing worth the wait. So again, some of you guys might be seeing your friends get married off at like 23, 24 or whenever, and you're like, oh my God, I missed the boat. Or oh, it's not going to happen for me. But the message from Spirit could not be more strong that it is going to be so worth it and it is going to pay off in every way. And you're going to be like, hallelujah, I am so glad I didn't settle with that person, or I am so glad I didn't just marry someone because it was like time and I felt like I just had to, pick a person. Kind of like, what I'm getting the image of in my mind is musical chairs, how like, you don't care about that chair normally, but because it's a game of musical chairs and you're like, there's only one chair left, you like grab it and you're in a frenzy about this stupid chair. And it's almost like we can get pressured like into that by society when we see everyone else doing stuff. And this is to tell you guys to stay focused, that you guys want and deserve the best. And I do feel like you guys are going to have it and it's going to come in and be simply amazing. I do feel like this person has some money of their own. I feel like they are highly successful and attractive, and it's almost like a power couple. It's like when they come in, it's going to be you have money, they have money, and it's like people are looking in like, oh my gosh, they're both attractive, they both have money, like dang, this is like a dream couple. So let's get more cards. So we also got Strength, Dragon's Lair, and Talisman. So some of you guys might meet them at the gym or something is what I'm getting, or you guys will both be very physically fit, and that makes sense. If you guys both have a lot of money, you have some finances to spend on like getting a personal trainer, or going to a yoga retreat, or getting private Pilates class, training every day. I just feel like you guys are going to be in really great shape. So is this person, and both of you guys just feel like achievers. Like honestly, I know some of you guys, whenever this comes up in a reading, I get people being like, that is so not me. And I get it. But I feel like at this point in your life, keep in mind, people can change and grow. You guys are going to be that type that might wake up early in the morning and, wake up at 6 a.m. and hit the gym and then go into the office. But I feel like you guys really like this about your life. Again, I'm getting busy. So this is another reason why this person is drawn to you, is because they're like, oh my gosh, this person it's almost like you're not even having to play hard to get, because you are hard to get because you have so much going on in your life and you're so busy, and you're just so invigorated with that. So it's like you guys are both hustlers, you're both doing a lot. And honestly, I keep getting the image in my mind of a benefit, like some kind of charity event, something where, there's like an auction or some kind of charity at play, like a high-end charity, or maybe like art, auction or something like that, where there's like people in fancy dresses. That's what I'm seeing in my mind, is like fancy, nice outfits, nice food, high end everything. And that's where you might meet them, or in that kind of similar setting. This is definitely the high end vibe, and I do feel like you will be at this level once you meet them, and they will be at this level. So again, it doesn't feel to me for a lot of you guys like it's a complete mismatch, and you're not on their level, and there's a power imbalance. So we also got fertility. So again, I feel like this is a message to some of you guys who might be worried and be thinking like, I need to get pregnant and I won't have enough time, but God's time is always perfect, right? And so we don't need to necessarily rush and fit into what certain people say, because God makes miracles happen all the time. So I think you guys should know that, like, when you meet them, you will be, I think you guys in this pile, of course, I can never give health advice to any individual, but I will say, I see you guys being able to get pregnant. And again, I feel like this might come up because maybe you're like, oh my God, I'm 35 and I haven't gotten married or something. And it's like, don't even worry, because you are going to have that dream baby, that beautiful family that you guys want. And again, this is God's timing. This is God's plan, as Drake would say. This is not necessarily your plan or your timeline that you would love, but I see it being better than your wildest dreams. Speaking of wildest dreams, let's get some songs and see the vibes for this energy. Spirit, can you tell us about the vibes for pile one's future spouse? No One's Gonna Love You, Band of Four. So that's actually a really romantic song. I know it sounds kind of mean, but it's like, no one's gonna love you the way I do. So that's why. Honey and I, Heim. Okay. Bruises, Chairlift. Okay. Very dreamy vibes so far, and I do think you guys connect in the astral realm. This is what you came for, Taylor Swift and Rihanna. So again, there's a level of status you have, and again, you guys looking really beautiful by the time they come in. Wow, okay, now I'm getting the vibe. Never Get You Right by Brandon Flowers, Beyond Love, Beach House. So there's something about this. Oh my gosh, 1,000 Years, Christina Perri. This is really deep. This is what I'm saying. There's something about this that is healing for you guys. Rosalind, Bon Iver, and St. Vincent. There's something about this that it's very soothing. It's almost like you might have been through a heartbreak or some really tough love situations, or even I'm getting for some of you guys, dark family situations, or like someone not getting along with their parents, or estranged from their family, or a lot of fights and trauma in the family, or something like that. And again, I see that this is why I think it comes in a little bit later, is because you guys, I'm hearing right now, you're ascending. You guys are working on yourselves. You're pushing through things. You are growing a lot. And it's almost like you have to undo some of these knots. I'm seeing someone literally pulling apart a knot with their fingers, which I actually love to do because I have Mercury in my first house. So a prominent Mercury makes you great at untying knots, and I love like pulling them out. And I see you guys doing that because that can be tricky, that can be really hard. That's why it's related to Mercury, because Mercury's thinking. You have to kind of really think about like, okay, this thread goes in here, and then I think it must be looped in with that on the other side. And that's kind of what you guys are doing right now. Like in the astral realm, you're just like pulling apart, untangling stuff from your childhood, and untangling generational trauma, untangling a lot of stuff. And that's the thing, is when we don't take the time and the effort to untangle that stuff, we repeat it to our children. That's why there's so many parents that love their kids but are really dysfunctional, horrible parents, to be honest, because they can't figure out how to get rid of their own trauma, and they end up passing those things down through the generations. And I see you guys really being a very spiritually advanced pile where you're doing that work now. So you're not going to pass that on to your children. You're not going to bring that into this relationship. And I do feel that this person, it's almost like maybe they're not good. I honestly feel like some of you guys might be a little more spiritually ascended than this person, but they're also spiritually ascended. They've done some spiritual work themselves. And so they kind of look up to you in one way, but they're also highly advanced compared to like the general public. And I see that again, so they understand what you've done. You know what I mean? They are not someone, because I think a lot of times when someone's not spiritually ascended, they will see the world through kind of a list of things that like are like a checklist given by society. Like, what's their education? What's their income? What's their age? What's their, how do they look? What kind of like, kind of the superficial stuff. You know what I mean? Not to say that you can't pay attention to that stuff and that, you're not allowed to think about it. But I do feel like once you become more spiritual, you start really paying attention to energy and really looking a little bit deeper. And I do feel like this person sees you to your core and really offers you such love and acceptance on a really deep level that I'm actually hearing you guys have never had before. And you've never gotten that level of acceptance. And it's really beautiful because you guys form that family that is like not too traumatized kids having kids themselves, but really feels like we're parents, we're mature, we can have these mature discussions. If we have a disagreement, we can talk it out, we can understand each other, and if you win, I win. We're not fighting each other. We're on the same team. Like it just feels very blissed out and chilled. Like, you kind of did the work before you come together. So it's not as much work when you are together. Like there's really no drama songs here. Everything is very chill and also spiritual. With 1,000 Years by Christina Perry, where she says, I have died every day waiting for you. Like I feel like you've been waiting for this person for a long time, and it's like a soulmate vibe, but I almost feel like you guys might be new to each other on the astral plane. Like maybe you didn't know each other in a past life, but that's just because it doesn't feel like a twin flame, like drama relationship. It doesn't feel like, oh, we're hashing out stuff from past lifetimes. It feels like very fresh and free and honest and lovely. And like you guys, like I love Beyond Love by Beach House, so it's a really highly ascended form of love. It's kind of like agape love. There is this sexual attraction, and I do think both of you are attractive is what I'm getting. So it's not like, oh, this is just my buddy, it's not like that. Like there's definitely that love and that romance and that passion and the heat for sure. So don't get me wrong, but it's like truly feels like the best form of soulmates, not like the drama soulmates, not like we broke up 5 times and got back together, but we're drawn like magnets. But it feels like I really trust this person with everything in me, and they trust me, and I know them, and we worked through our own issues on our own, and now we get to form this amazing family and have amazing, probably very ascended type of kids. So yeah, I just think they really admire you is what I keep getting. And with this is what you came for. The lyric to that is, and everybody's watching her, but she's looking at you. And so I feel like it's like, again, this person really respects and kind of enjoys, like kind of attracted to the fact that you guys have your own career, you have your own success. Like they're not intimidated by it. They're like, oh, heck yeah, that's my baby. You know what I mean? I got them, and that's my woman, or that's my man, and it's like they're proud. So yeah, I love that. Okay, let's get more cards. So we got contract, happy family, 4th chakra Archangel Raphael, 2nd chakra Archangel Ariel, the temple path, and door to romance. So like I said, with happy family coming in, I definitely see that if you want kids, that you will be able to have them. And so don't worry too much. I feel like a lot of people talk about, oh, someone has to have kids by a certain age. And I feel like the message for you guys is, again, with this spiritually ascended love, it will come in at the right time. And it's so useless to think about like, you know, what science says, because the thing is like God has the higher plan. God always has the higher say. And the number of times, I mean, if I told you guys some certain stories I have that literally defy the laws of physics of things that have happened to me or people around me or things, you guys would not literally believe it. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, things that, again, like I said, defy the laws of physics. And so if God can do all this stuff, then he can get you pregnant, you know, a little bit past the age of 45 or whatever age it is. I mean, there's a lot of like scaremongering in the media, but women are getting pregnant all the time after age 40. Both my grandparents got pregnant in their 40s. So, I mean, don't pay attention to some of the fear mongering. It's going to happen on time. So I really want to get that message for some of you guys. So then we have 4th chakra Archangel Raphael and 2nd chakra Archangel Ariel. So Raphael is such an amazing healing angel and rules the heart chakra. So a beautiful, healthy, loving relationship, but just like I just said, don't think it's going to be some kind of sexless, we're just buddies. It's just pure love. Then we have 2nd chakra Archangel Ariel, so the root chakra. So there is a sexual passion and heat here in this relationship that is definitely present, and you guys are very attracted to each other. And I also will say that I think this does a lot for your feeling of safety. I feel you feel very safe with this person, very understood by them. Like they really get you, and it gives a lot to your feeling of safety, to your feeling of like, I can relax. Even I'm getting for some of you guys, even sexually, you're able to open up more. And it might be a situation where you like before, you know, maybe you thought you were having good sex, but it just goes to another level because of the feeling of safety and trust and understanding that you have with this person. I feel like there's just so much understanding and there's a sacredness to you guys being together. Like, I feel like both of you have done the spiritual work and there's a spirituality. And like I said, I feel a lot of you guys have already connected on the astral plane. I feel like a lot of you guys have maybe met each other in your dream state, or maybe while you're meditating. We also got contract. So I do feel like you guys have had maybe a connection up on the astral plane. And I feel like this person is waiting for you. I just saw someone smirking in my mind. So it's almost like I feel like they're amused by you. You know what I mean? They get a kick out of you. Like, it's like they kind of know sometimes. I feel like some of you guys, not that you're panicky, but I feel like you guys get in your head a little bit about like, oh my God, I'm not going to meet them. Oh my God, it's not happening. And it's almost like they're laughing. They're like, like it's, I'm waiting for you. I'm coming for you. Don't worry. But like, of course you're freaking out, and that's so you, like but in a like sweet way, you know, like you would like laugh about your friend or something, like not like they're making fun of you, but just they're like, don't even worry about this. Like, it's going to be fine. And they just want you to really know this. I do feel like this person might be really romantic, because I feel like, again, they are the King of Wands. And also I feel like because it's not like you guys come together when you're 22 and you guys like are still figuring it out. It's like this person kind of knows what they should do. They know how to act right. They're very successful, so they're goal oriented. So they know, you know, if they are going to like have a romantic night for you, they're not just going to be like, hey, you want to get in the car and drive over to Wendy's and let's get a Frosty and split a burger. And can you give me $5 for the fries? Like, they are gonna, you know, get the rose petals out and have them arranged on the bed for you, and, you know, maybe have some Taurus vibes going on. Like I always think Taurus energy is so like I don't know, a fur rug, you know, on the floor with like a fireplace and a box of chocolates and some champagne. If you are a Taurus, I know you want that vibe. I know you do. And Taurus are the best at creating that kind of energy of like just romance and luxury and just all the good things. So I feel like this person is going to be romantic in that way. And like, you know, they're going to know what to do. They're not going to be some bumbling person that is kind of like, hey, I hope this is good enough. Whatever. I just threw it together. Here's some leftover pad thai that I kind of ate half of, but happy Valentine's Day, here's the rest. You know what I mean? They're going to be like going all out and popping champagne, and it's going to be a very beautiful vibe, honestly. So let's get more cards. So we got Falling Angel, Spiritual Narcolepsy, Caterpillar, Opportunity, Heart Home, Compassion, Lay of the Land, Ancestral Wisdom, Benefactor, Grace, and Generosity. So again, with this sleep energy that I feel like you guys might dream of them or have met them in your sleep state. Yeah, and you guys are probably going to have a beautiful home together. And also with Benefactor, again, with that energy of like you guys meeting at a charity event or some kind of, you know, auction for a cause, or some kind of benefit. Like I could see people, I'm really seeing people in fancy dresses, like fancy, like floor length gowns and, you know, tuxedos, and like getting ready, like dancing to like a waltz. And, you know, maybe there's like expensive, like a little auction later at the night, and there's like food served, and it just feels very like bougie and nice. And talk about Taurus energy, very high end and beautiful. And I feel like you might meet them that way, or they might come in, even I'm hearing, as a benefactor in your business. There's such a strong energy of admiration with this person. So I could even see a scenario in which they kind of see you, find out about you from afar, kind of like maybe you have your own business or something like that, and they find out about it and they're like, hey, I want to invest, or they call you up and like offer to, you know, buy a stake in the company or something like that, and or offer to, you know, I'd like to work together. And then that's how the relationship forms. But it definitely feels like you've worked through a lot of your issues. You have become a master manifester by the time they come in. You have your own status and success, and when they come in, it's just like two superpowers joining forces, and it's really exciting. And again, I just cannot emphasize enough how it feels like they admire you, really. And what did I say about breaking ancestral karma? And now we got ancestral wisdom, which when I pulled it, I didn't really know. But that's, I think that makes a lot of sense. And again, I'm getting some of you guys, you might be not getting along well with your family, or you might be really working through those ties of like bad ancestral behavior, or, you know, families that weren't the best, kind of most mature way of dealing with things. And so sometimes when that happens and you're unpacking a lot of that, it can really offend those people because they're in a little bit more of an immature energy themselves, where they're more like hurt and taking things personally. And, you know, they're not able to like stand back and be like, yes, I know I gave you a really horrible childhood, and kind of accept that. So you might end up having to cut someone off or something like that. And I'm just getting, they might have a very nice family, and it might be a situation where like you become best friends with their mom, and then that becomes your like de facto mom, or just you feel so plugged in with this person and neither one of you are close to your family, and it's like just a really healing energy. But I'm really getting someone in this, probably you guys, it could be them though, that probably isn't that close with their family. But, and yeah, there's just such a sense of completion when you guys come together, that it's like, oh, this is amazing. You know, I don't necessarily need to have this perfect family, and it's okay, I didn't get that. So we also got bowl, plenty of material things. And this is where we just have a bunch of things about money. I remember when I was pulling these, I was like, okay, we get the picture. So we got coins, money will be coming to you, owl, good advice from a wise person, horse, short journey, July, tortoise, slowly but surely getting ahead. So, you know, I feel like this with tortoise, like again, it might come in a little bit slower. It might not come in where it happens next month, but I feel like when it does happen, it's going to also happen fast. It's going to be a short journey. It's going to be like, you know, we already are, we're not playing games, because we're not like 16 years old and like, I have a crush. Will you give this message to Bobby and tell him that I like Aaron? You know, it's like you guys just, you know what you want. You're at a stage in your life where you're not really wanting to waste a lot of time, and it feels like it happens fast, and it's exciting. It's a really beautiful energy. And I do feel like this person's going to have a lot of money themselves, and it's going to move quick. Because also it's like, you know, when you have a lot of money, you can kind of speed up the process, right? Like you can go on a really nice vacation to Bora Bora, or you can, you know, go to Paris for a weekend, and it's not like you have to like get to know each other slowly. It's like you can really dive right in. So it seems like it just is going to happen fast. It could happen in the month of July, or they might be born in July, but um I do feel like the vibe is that it would happen a little bit later. So for some of you guys, if you're already at the ages I was describing, it could happen this July. But for a lot of you guys, I do feel like it might happen, you know, in a few years from now or something, maybe not right away, depending on your age. So yeah, and with July, so those would be the energies of Cancer and Leo. So I'm definitely seeing a Leo vibe from them for sure. And they definitely seem like someone who is kind of fun, life of the party, center of attention. And they did get King of Wands, which is a fire energy. And Cancer, I could see that as well too. A little bit of that caretaking mother energy, and that might be your energy as well. So yeah, so we also got let your friends help you stay optimistic about your love life, deception, reverse for yourself, and worth waiting for. So they really want you to know so strongly with stay optimistic about your love life and worth waiting for. They really want you to know that this is worth the wait and that you don't need to be rushing this, because it's like, you know, it's kind of like you don't rush a masterpiece. And like I said it in another reading recently, but like if you go to a nice restaurant that's a French restaurant and they have souffles, like actual made to order nice perfect souffles, you have to order that like early in the meal. Like usually you would order it at the same time you're putting in your order for your entree and for your appetizer, because it takes them a while to make it, and they make it fresh, and it has to be fresh to be a real souffle. And so you can't just order it 5 minutes before the way you would order like the brownie sundae, because they pre-make that, they have it all cut up in the back. But that fresh made souffle that's going to be absolutely amazing and literally blow your, well, not literally, but it's going to blow your socks off. That you need to like have a little bit of advanced warning. So it takes a little bit longer. And I do feel like for you guys, this is like that perfect souffle that's going to just be incredible. You also could meet through friends, or just that when you meet with friends, I feel like it might be a situation where you're like out with your friends, and then, you know, that's why you're at the benefit or you're at this event with friends and they see you with your friends. But again, it's like, I feel like both of you guys run in similar circles, or you both run in a similar vibe of like your friends. Even if you and your friends don't know each other, it would be a similar vibe of like everyone has a good career, everyone is somewhat established, that kind of a thing. So with deception, reverse, and for yourself, I do feel like some of you guys have been lied to in past relationships, and like this is going to be so much better. I just feel like you guys are going to look back and literally laugh at like, why was I ever nervous, or why did I ever worry about this? Because everything is just a million times better than I could ever have imagined. I honestly think you guys are going to be so glad and relieved that you didn't settle for whoever you had in the past, and you're just going to be overjoyed with this outcome. So let me get some astro dice for you guys. So we got Aquarius and we got fourth house. And I almost mentioned Aquarius because Leo is the descendant of Aquarius. So that's the seventh house. So that's what their partner might be in. That's what they're attracted to. So Aquarius does have to do with social groups, the 11th house, other friends. It's also, 11th house is the house of hopes and dreams and wishes. And so again, like if you guys are wishing for this, and it kind of is like benefactors and things that come out of the blue as a surprise, like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, you know? So it's like, I feel like you guys should just focus on being your best version of yourself, and don't focus so much on like, oh my gosh, I gotta plan this, because I don't feel you can plan it. I feel like it's gonna come as a surprise, and a very pleasant surprise. And then we got fourth house, which is Cancer. And so yeah, like this is the energy of that. You know, fourth house is family as well, and Cancer is the mom, it's the moon. So I feel that, again, you guys are going to become mothers, a lot of you, or if you're a man, you're going to be a father, you know, but I feel that you guys are going to have families, and it's going to be amazing. And if you're like, no, I'm too old for that, like, do not discount spirit, because they will prove you wrong every chance they get. So just don't think that because you don't know. So let's get some messages from them, some final messages. I love my little cup. I just love these cups. They're from Spode, if anyone likes these style of cups like me. Okay, so we got, I was searching for you for so long. Oh, and that's exactly what I'm saying, you guys. See, I'm telling you, you're going to be searching for them for a while, and it might come in a little bit later, but don't be upset. Sometimes people in the comments are like, but I want to meet them now. It's like, well, God has a better plan. So, I mean, like, the number of times I wanted something to work out a certain way and it didn't quite work out that way, but it was a million times better. Like, it's like, this is like a beautiful once in a lifetime love. How can you ever be disappointed with this when this is like the dream love that everyone wants and you guys are getting it? I can't help but be jealous at the thought of you with someone else. Okay, that makes sense because they are the King of Wands. You are so beautiful. Another thing I got is that some of you guys might worry about like, oh my gosh, I'm aging or something like that. And it's like, you should know that you're not aging badly at all, in that like you're going to look really good when they come in. So I've been hearing that message throughout. So like, if you're like, oh no, but if I meet them at this age, like, then, they're not going to like me. It's like, no, you look amazing and you'll be looking fantastic. And it's not like that. Like I said, like, spirit has different ways of working. So, if they're going to introduce someone to you later in life and they need to know that you'll be looking good, they can adjust how someone ages, Spirit's amazing. So we got, I so respect everything you've earned in your life. Telling you guys, I love the family we've created. These are all the same messages. I mean, why am I even reading them? They're like literally everything I've been saying. I want to take care of you. No one gets me the way you do, and I want to protect you. So I think that's what's really healing, is I'm getting a message from Spirit that a lot of you guys have never had anyone to protect you, to really stand up for you. And that might be why I'm getting this independent vibe with you, of like, you've done everything yourself and you have earned it and you are a fighter. But it's like a relief for you. It's like, oh, I can trust someone like this. This is what it feels like to be really love the person and just be able to open up to them completely. Oh, dang, this is kind of nice. So I feel like you could just love it. And also, when I was, I guess, shuffling this, I don't know how it happened. Maybe you guys saw it in playback, but this dice turned over to the 8th house, and I feel like that is the house of Scorpio, Pluto, and it's a psychic house. It also deals with sexual energy. So again, don't think that because there's such a healing and sweet spiritual vibe here that there's not a sexual energy. Spiritual energy can be sexual energy as well. There's different aspects of spirituality, and there is a beautiful sexual relationship here of deep attraction. And just, you guys kind of, I feel like, want to rip each other's clothes off. Like, it's like, you guys are both attractive. Let me say that. You guys are a cute couple. I feel like people are going to be admiring you guys, like, oh wow, they look good together. So yeah, you guys, I love this energy for you, pile one. So beautiful. So let me know how it resonates in the comments, and make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and turn notifications on so you find out as soon as I post. And definitely head to the link in my bio for my Patreon, and definitely check that out over there, because there's a lot of great extra readings over there. So I am sending you guys so much love and light. Oh, and lest I forget, hello, the Keen link, which is in my bio. That is such an amazing resource. So definitely check that out. And I am sending you guys so much love and light. I hope you all have an amazing day. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, Pile 2. So if you guys picked this card, this is going to be your reading. You guys got New Beginnings. And for your tarot, you got the 3 of Pentacles, 8 of Wands, the Lovers reversed, Strength, the World, 9 of Cups, 9 of Wands, and Temperance. And I want to mention to you guys really quick that if you want additional clarity after this reading, definitely check out the link in my bio, trykeen.com/Briar, and get a reading from one of their vetted tarot readers and clairvoyants. They're amazing. I use them all the time, and that deal is unbeatable. So definitely check it out, you guys. Give it a try. And with that being said, let's get into the cards. I can tell that you guys are probably going to meet your future spouse through work or school. So with the Three of Pentacles leading off the reading, I'm definitely getting the vibe that you guys will probably meet in a place where you're using your mind, you're using your brain, and honestly, you guys are probably pretty busy as well. So this doesn't seem like the kind of vibe where you're just coasting. You know, sometimes when you're in college or in class or where you're at work, you're kind of able to be on your phone sometimes and take it easy. This is not that kind of job or school situation. You guys are going to be really busy, working hard, definitely being very diligent. And I feel this person will come in during a time like that as a coworker or a fellow student, someone that you guys might be in the same field, studying the same type of thing, and probably working together on a similar project or something like that. There's an energy of having a shared knowledge base. So maybe like both of you guys are accountants and you know the tax code really well, or both of you guys are stockbrokers and you know the ins and outs of which stocks to buy, or you're both artists and you know the art world really, really well, but you guys have this knowledge in common that I feel binds you guys and bonds you. And over time, it seems like this relationship actually develops from a coworker, colleague, fellow student type of relationship into being something romantic, but it might take a little time with Temperance coming out. So it's almost like at first you guys know each other on that level, and maybe you're trying to keep it professional, trying to keep it very like non-romantic, very PG, you know, like, oh no, I don't really like him, not like that. But the reality is you're both very attracted to each other. I can see with the Strength card that this person's probably quite physically fit. They might actually have some visible muscles and stuff like that. And I see both of you guys would probably keep active, or at least they definitely would. And again, with the shared knowledge base, this could also be sharing interests, and it would be something that would require quite a large canonical knowledge base. So maybe something like Star Wars or Game of Thrones, where there's a lot of backstory, there's a lot of characters you'd have to know, there's a lot of like accumulated knowledge that, you know, you can't just necessarily stroll into a random episode. Like, I guess you could, but you know, most of the people who are into it are going to know like all the ins and outs and all the storylines, and there's something like that that you have in common that I feel you really like. I could almost see people in this pile being somewhat like sapiosexual, where there's like a attraction to this knowledge you have in each other, because I almost feel like it comes as a relief. Like you might have been in another relationship right before it where there was someone that you had to explain a lot of this stuff to, or you just weren't on the same page, or they were like, what'd you do at work? Oh, cool. Anyway, like they didn't care. And maybe that was a little frustrating to you. Like maybe you're a lawyer and you come home really excited to be like, the craziest thing happened in court. Like the judge actually scolded them and they had objected because of XYZ. And you're trying to like explain it. And the person you're with is like, I don't care. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't care. And there's something about this relationship where you're like, oh my gosh, we agree, we're on the same page. And like almost like you guys are teammates for a long time, that I feel like bleeds off into your romantic relationship. So even when you take it from being like teammates and colleagues into like we're romantically together, you still see each other through that lens. So you still kind of consider yourselves on the same team. And you know, it's like if your kid goes to one of you and tries to be like, hey, you know, dad's being mean, can I go have some ice cream? You're going to be like, hey, that's my teammate. Like, no way. I'm gonna, you know, we're working together on this. You guys just always see each other as like, there's a level of mutual respect here that I think develops because of this initial type of meeting. And also something coming through with the Nine of Cups is you very well might actually turn this into that romantic relationships into after a situation where you guys are drinking. So maybe going out to a bar, something like that. I am seeing a bar in my mind. Honestly, this is a vibe that is really conjuring up images to me of an urban environment. It might not be the case for everyone, but for a lot of you guys, I could see you guys being in an urban environment because it seems like you guys are going out to like late night dinners, and you know, I can see some skyscrapers, see some pubs and some buildings like that. So I just feel like you guys very well might live in a big city or something like that. Another thing is shared routine. Like I feel like maybe because you guys are in the same field, and sometimes that can influence someone's schedule, but you guys just really seem like you have a similar routine routine and vibe. Like there's a lot of shared interests in common. For example, if you guys do live in a big city, like I was picking up on, and you guys wanted to buy a summer house or something like that, I don't feel like there would be a lot of arguments because one person wants a beach house and the other wants a lake house. It would be both want a lake house, you know what I mean? Or both want a beach house. But honestly, this is more like lake vibes than beach, to be honest. But some of you guys might want a beach house, but you guys would be on the same page of like, we like the same stuff, you know, or both of you guys are into skiing, you know what I mean? And if you have some vacation time in the winter, there's not even a question. You both know you're going to head to a ski resort and you don't have to argue or bicker about it. And I do feel like you guys will establish some kind of routine, like a Sunday routine, like something where you guys are, you know, going to walk to pick up the paper from the local newsstand and grab some bagels and maybe some lox, and you know, then head back, and one of you guys always wants to read the style section and another person always wants to read the front page, and there's just this kind of easiness here that, again, I think it's established because you have so much in common in the initial early stages. Like it's not just a relationship based off of attraction or based off of like, I agree with this, or I really like want to get in bed with this person, but we have nothing in common. You agree on a lot of stuff. There's a lot of this shared respect, like I said, for each other's mind, for each other's opinions. So when someone says something, it's not just like, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, okay, well, I know you're just as intelligent as me. You might have the same level of education as me. And I feel like this is a major thing that kind of sets the tone and the vibe for this relationship. But again, at first, I don't see you guys getting romantically involved right away. I feel like there is a time when it's just platonic and then the new beginning happens and then it becomes very romantic. But a big thing here is that the masculine might actually think that the feminine is not interested at first and might even talk about being friend zoned or something like that. They might be like, they don't see me that way. They just see me as a coworker. Like I don't have a chance. And then I definitely think maybe this is where the alcohol is coming in, is where there's like a night out, or it could also be a business trip with this world card coming out. So it could be like you guys are both traveling somewhere and, you know, there's a conference and we meet down at the bar with everyone for, you know, a couple celebratory drinks, and then maybe someone slips someone the room key or something, but there's a turning point and there's like kind of a not reconciliation, but what is it, like there's some moment of reckoning, that's the word, where it's like, okay, we're putting this on the table, we are saying our feelings, and then things, I think, really take off and speed up from there. Another thing is that you guys do have, I feel, friends in common or shared social groups, again, with a shared interest. So that makes sense. Like if you know, you are into Star Wars, maybe that informs kind of like your friend groups have that same vibe and both of you get along. And you know how sometimes you hear stories about like a wedding party where like one of the groomsmen and one of the bridesmaids fall in love? I could see that happening with this pile because like, I just feel like you guys have so much in common with your friend groups that they would really vibe. It wouldn't be one of those awkward weddings where like the groomsmen and the bridesmaids like don't really care for each other and they're not really getting along. It would be like everyone is just like, oh, this person's so cool. Oh, we should stay in touch afterwards. And there's a lot of just getting along. So yeah, I really think this is a great vibe for you guys. Let's get some additional cards. So we got wishing well, unexpected visitors, slow and steady, and dry desert. So again, this starts out kind of dry. Like it doesn't start out hot and heavy. It's not like we meet each other and instantly we're flirting and instantly we're making double entendres. I feel like this might be because you meet at either school or work. So it's kind of like, I want to keep this professional. Like sometimes there are rules and even like laws about like you can't make it romantic at work. And so maybe that's why. But I feel like both of you are kind of like not like you're not. It's not that you're not acknowledging the other person's attractive, because I feel like both of you are going to be attractive. But I feel like at first it's kind of like we got to keep things professional. We got to keep things focused. And so you're really being very nose to the grindstone and just staying focused on work. And I actually feel like that's kind of where things can work out even better, because when you think about it, sometimes when you really like someone and it's just this flirty relationship from the beginning, things can burn out really fast. Like you end up having your first kiss and you're like, oh, actually it wasn't that great and I don't really know this person so well, so I'm not going to talk to them again. You know what I mean? Or like, oh yeah, well, that satisfied my curiosity, so now I'm done, now I'm over it. Or something where you don't really get to know them, you don't really know or care about them. And almost as well, it can be awkward because you have this crush, you're nervous, you're not telling them everything. But the thing is that because you guys are so busy at work, because this is a big thing, is like you guys are going to be busy. This is a competitive environment. This is like a hard work, high end type of job, in my opinion. So, it's like, because you're so consumed with that, you don't have as much time to like daydream and be like, oh my gosh, what do they think of me? Oh, did I put my hair right? It's just like, I just got to focus. I got to get this done. So you really get to know each other really, really well. And there's not that self-consciousness that sometimes can like derail a relationship. It's just like, whatever, they've seen me at my worst. They still like me. And in that way, it's kind of like better than when you're really nervous around someone and you have all the butterflies and you kind of trip over your words when you're talking to them. It's just like, I don't really care what they think. And because of that, it just flows super, super easily. But I do get the vibe that there's some unrequited love on the part of the masculine towards the feminine at first. And maybe he's wishing and hoping and kind of dreaming, but like, kind of like, oh, they're not into me like that. It's just, there's no point. This is just in my head. And it's a little unexpected when it comes into being a romantic situation. And when it finally kind of goes past that and turns into more of a flirty romance type of thing. I feel like also your friend group or your coworkers might also find it unexpected. They might be like, wait a minute, what? When did you two get together? Like, this is crazy. You guys are supposed to be like just coworkers that don't care about each other. And now you're telling me you guys are seriously dating and moving into each other. So it does come as a bit of a shock to like everyone involved, not because you're not attractive, but I almost feel like you guys do a lot to play that off at the beginning. Like maybe there is that mutual attraction at first, but you're both very like, no, we're just business. We're keeping it business. So when it happens, it's a little bit of a surprise. So let's get some music and find out the vibe for this relationship. What is the vibe and how are they going to meet this person when? Wait for Me, Hall & Oates. Okay. We got Teenage Dream, Katy Perry. There's a very strong travel emphasis coming in through this. Blue Ain't Your Color, Keith Urban. One-on-One, Hall & Oates. Maybe you guys are Hall & Oates fans. I mean, maybe this is the like little interest that I'm picking up on that you guys would share. Good Life, Kanye West. It's Too Late, Carole King. Romeo, Chairlift. Let's see if we get one more song. Mystery of Love, Sufjan Stevens. So I'm just getting a vibe like both of you are highly educated, and something really strong that's coming in is that there might be a past relationship that the feminine, especially you guys, or I don't know, someone in this relationship is hung up, or not hung up, but almost like had a relationship that either they that was a bad relationship. Like I said, this person that didn't really understand them or took them for granted or didn't care about them as much, that kind of informs them. And I almost feel like that's another reason why they're distracted or not open, is because they're like a little closed off to love. And it might even be that they're in this relationship when they meet, and that's why they're kind of not, it doesn't turn romantic right away, because they're like, oh yeah, I have a boyfriend. Sorry. Like, look, I just got to keep it really platonic with this cute guy at my work. Cause like, he's really cute. I think he kind of looks at me a lot, but like, obviously I'm dating someone else, so I can't go there. But it could be you guys are together when you meet them, or it could be just this person's still fresh in your mind and you're not open to dating right away. But I feel like this relationship kind of takes you out of it, and it's kind of like, oh, this is why it took so long. It was worth the wait, you know? And so also I feel like There's times when you guys are both really busy at work, surrounded by a lot of people, and you might be on the same team or something like that. And then I'm seeing people, like maybe everyone else leaves the room and you guys get to talk, and there's just a lot of this electricity and spark, but it can't really happen because of the work situation and the confines and that. So it stays kind of hidden for a long time. And I feel like it just builds in silence, it just grows on its own. Um, and I think that's one of the most powerful energies from love is when it actually can't happen right away. It actually just makes it grow so much more than if you just gave into it right away. So I feel like by the time it does happen, honestly, the masculine is feeling the need to be very charming because again, he kind of assumes like, for whatever reason, she's not into me. I don't know. I'm pretty cute, but like she's just not feeling it. And so it's like he's really turning on the charm. We got Romeo chair-lipped. So I do feel like when it happens, it's like, and that song is also kind of, it's like got a kind of competitive vibe. And again, I could see you guys kind of competing a little bit in the office or just being both competitive people, or there's a lot of competition at work. And a big emphasis as well is on traveling. So we got the world. I feel like you guys will probably travel together a lot. Teenage Dream always reminds me of travel. She says in the song, like making forts in hotel rooms, something like that. That's butchering the lyrics, but I feel like you guys will be staying in different hotel rooms. You guys will probably have a higher source of income or something like that, because I'm getting a lot of you guys will be at a more higher paid job, but I feel like you guys will be traveling. Both of you guys have an interest in the world. Both of you guys are, very kind of outward focused, aware of current events, highly educated, or just very smart. And, I could definitely see you guys as a couple doing things like filling out the Sunday crossword puzzle or playing Wordle or just doing like intelligent type of stuff. You're not, both of you guys are kind of smart, might even be a little nerdy, some of you, not everyone, but there's a lot of shared intelligence in certain areas. So like, again, maybe both of you guys like philosophy, or both of you like math, or both of you are into music and you want to get season tickets to the local orchestra, but there's this shared interest that I don't think everyone has that's highly intelligent. So we also got happiness, reconciliation, and home. And with the reconciliation card, again, I'm getting there might be a short breakup, or it's just that moment of like actually taking things to the next level, like a breakthrough kind of a thing. Because it's almost like maybe, before this moment happens, like I said, this masculine is indicating to me that at first there's an assumption that the feminine isn't into it. So maybe he's like, you know what, I'm not going to work with her at the office anymore. I mean, I'll be cordial, but I just have to put some distance. Like I care too much. She's not into me. And like, I'm just going to kind of avoid her. You know what I mean? And there's some kind of a thing where maybe one or both of you is avoiding the other, and then we come together and it's like a breakthrough. And then I feel like there's so much happiness and joy. And again, this might be why you have to be a little tipsy, because I am seeing that, Nine of Cups, and it's really, Spirit's really bringing that up to me, and I'm really seeing it at a bar or something like that, and being a little drunk, to be honest. So someone might have a little too much to drink, and then the truth comes pouring out and we're able to have that discussion. But I do see you guys really making a really happy home together, and either some of you guys might not want kids, but I definitely feel like you guys would want pets. And if you do want kids, I think you would have a great parenting situation that's very calm, probably highly intelligent kids. And also I could see like your kids just being achievers, like having summer camp, and also just being like smart kids, you know what I mean, like kids that are precocious and like also read the newspaper or know what's going on in current events because they hear you guys talking about that at the dinner table, or know how to play chess because you guys play chess on vacation with them. They're not just like kids that are like obsessed with like, I don't know, Baby Shark or something. Like nothing wrong with that. Of course, that's part of like child development. But I just feel like they're like those really smart kids that would like learn math early or something like that, or, know how to write in cursive in like kindergarten or something like that. They just seem like ahead of their time, and both of you are smart, and I feel like both of you have high level discussions with them. So let's get more cards. So we got man holding a heart, indecision, community, and man holding a coin. So again, there is this, I'm not going to harp on it because I don't want to repeat myself, but we got the unrequited thing going on, and we got an energy where the masculine is probably going to reach a point where he's like, I gotta put this out here. Okay, I gotta put my heart on the line. I gotta offer, maybe like, I'll take you out on a romantic high-end date and bring that Taurus energy of like the romance and the high-end vibes and take you to the most expensive place in town. But there comes a point where I feel like the man presents an offer and like makes it known. Whereas before, maybe it was just, we were able to play it off like, we're just friends, we just get along, we're just work together. And maybe the feminine even could be a little indecisive at first. Like she might be like, I don't know, because I still have this ex, or I'm not sure. But it seems like we get past this discussion into a really beautiful place that, again, now it's like, it's even more valuable because it didn't happen easily. It wasn't just like, hey, we met, we slept together on the first date, and it was always kind of a sure thing. It's like, I didn't think this was going to happen. I'm so blown away, and I feel so grateful. So I feel like, again, also it makes that solid base of respect that I really love. And with community, you guys have a lot of the mutual friends or like the same colleagues in the office, that kind of a thing, where I feel like this forms a bit of a foundation as well for the relationship, where it's really nice to know that you guys share the same kind of group. Or if you guys might not know all the same friends when you first get together, it's like you quickly form that kind of friend group, because it's kind of like, you know, how people will say they meet all their friends as an adult from like their children being in preschool together, and then they become friends with like the fellow moms. Like, I just feel like you guys settle really quickly into like a like almost, I don't want to say suburban mom and dad, but for those of you guys who want kids, you know, I could see also someone living in an urban environment, but more along the lines of like Brooklyn instead of like Manhattan, although it could be Manhattan, but it's more like, there's a hominess here, and there's kind of like we're settled. It doesn't feel like it stays fast paced forever. It's kind of like you guys are so used to the fast paced life for a long time that you are ready and waiting to have it be a little bit more chill and a little bit more relaxed. So when it rolls around to be the time to like, let's get married and move into like a brownstone, or let's move into a little house in like an inner suburb, you guys are really happy about that. And then you might have, again, the same type of friend group that you meet through work or just through the shared interests. Because I feel like you'll find a lot of those like-minded people that love to like hike or love to go to the orchestra, or you know, are interested in like political stuff, and it just comes up in conversation. But yeah, okay, so let's get more cards. So we got Garden of Venus, Rest and Renewal, First Breath, Beginner's Mind, Stranger, Curiosity, Covenant, Sacred Contract, and Fortune's Wheel, Luck and Right Timing. And I am getting a lot of you guys might have a really beautiful garden, or the masculine or the feminine might have an interest in gardening, and kind of, again, it's like a more settled energy. Like, I feel like when you guys first get together, a lot of you're just in such an urban type of place, and maybe you're living in like, you know, an apartment in like a high rise, and then it's like, we're really excited to have our own space with a garden, but you guys might not be moving out to the middle of the country. Some of you might, because I am getting especially images of like a summer house in like upstate or something like that. But for some of you, it might be your you know, you're just in an inner suburb, or in kind of a part of the city where there's yards and stuff like that, and you really enjoy the gardening. I feel like a lot of you will be health conscious, and you might do things like grow your own herbs, grow your own basil, and like make homemade pizzas in the backyard, and get like even a pizza oven or something like that. You know, I feel both of you are I don't want to say snobs, but like food snobs or something like that. Or like, you're not just gonna want to sit around and watch like something you would consider lowbrow. You want to watch like, you know, I don't know, Masterpiece Theater or Antiques Roadshow, or like something like that. You know, like there's an intelligence really strongly coming through this reading, and a sophistication level, that both of you are sophisticated. You have higher level interests. You're both you're both more educated, and yeah, I just think you have like interesting discussions around the dinner table. Like I could see, a group of like kind of sophisticated looking adults sitting around drinking some wine and having like an arugula salad and some, homemade pesto pasta, and it's just really nice. Like it's a nice vibe, and I just see that really strongly. But at first, again, it doesn't turn that way right away. It's like the mutual respect comes, we're kind of feeling it out. And then I feel like with the right timing, that's when it switches into something more. And you see each other differently with kind of this beginner's mind. Like, you know what? Actually, I don't just see them that way. Now I really view them romantically, and it's really exciting. So there's this really exciting turnaround time. So I want to get some additional cards from the romance deck. So we got religious factors, forgiving and learning, separation, unrequited love, and it is not safe for you to love, and reconciliation. So these are coming through so strong that, again, some of you might have a short breakup or something. And I don't feel like, again, I don't feel like it would be permanent, but I do feel like there might come a time where, especially with this unrequited love, where the masculine might be like, I don't think this feminine reciprocates. I don't think she cares about me. And there's a moment of, yeah, feeling like a loss, or feeling like she doesn't care about me, feeling like I'm the only one who has these feelings. There's this vibe where maybe the masculine kind of retreats at first or is unhappy with it, and there may be a moment of like withdrawal from the situation, and then coming back together and kind of being like, okay, I got to give this a shot, and the feminine opening up, and then I feel like things do move forward. Or it could even be a short breakup within the relationship after it's become romantic, but they're definitely indicating something like that. And then I feel like that is almost like a growing opportunity. Like maybe it's something where you're like, you know what, we should do couples counseling or something, and it just makes it a lot better and makes it flow a lot easier. And then it's like, oh, this is a lot easier to handle now that we have these tools. So it feels really positive after we move through that energy, and like there's a lot of growth that happens within the relationship that I think just benefits everyone. So overall, it's super positive. And I think some of this, it might be that the feminine especially doesn't feel as safe to love because of this past relationship, and is a little bit like not open. And then after a while is like, I really can trust this person. They're amazing, and I need to give this a shot. So, yeah, I think there's an ability to move past this and through this. And it's just that initial kind of roadblock, I guess you could say, from more of just it being a platonic relationship, or feeling like they have to keep it platonic um, because of the situation where it's school, it's work, there's other people around. That plays a big role, I think, is like, what is my boss going to say? What are the coworkers going to say? But then I do see it coming into like a beautiful relationship where I think there's just so much in common. It just feels easy. It just feels like, wow, we're on the same page. We have the same interests. We like the same stuff. We eat the same food, have the same political beliefs. And it's just not so hard like other relationships where there's not as much in common, and maybe there's that initial attraction, but then it's like, oh, I really don't actually agree with anything this person thinks, and we don't have the same interests, we don't like doing the same stuff. Oh, and let me spin the astro dice and see what energies are at play for pile 2. So we got 9th house, travel, and we got Capricorn. Wow, why am I not surprised? 10th house, aka Saturn, which is a house of work. So you guys are going to be working hard at this. I really think this is going to happen at your career, and both of you are hard workers. Both of you are disciplined. I could picture Virgo in this energy as well, because there's definite earth energy coming through really strong. And so I think you like respect that about each other, kind of like, neither one of you is a slacker that is just not interested in contributing. Both of you are very focused on like, how do I help with this situation? How do we improve it? What can I do for my partner? Like, neither one of you is just a lazy person that wants to like lay around. And so I think you both really like that like there's kind of this understanding of like, I'm going to do this part. I like cooking, but you'll clean up. You know what I mean? Or I absolutely hate cleaning, so you have to do all the cleaning, but I will take the kids to all their activities and, you know, do the majority of like taking care of the kids. So that's fine. Like, you know what I mean? There's like a situation where you're on the same page with that. Also with ninth house, again, you guys are going to be traveling a lot, and that is Sagittarius. It's also Jupiter, so there's a heavy luck energy in this pile as well, and again with the right timing situation. But I do see you guys traveling a lot and also like consuming stuff from other cultures, so you guys just seem very cultured and worldly in many ways. So let's get some final cards and messages from your future partner, from your future spouse. Pile 2's future spouse. Okay, so we got your body is incredible. Okay, so they love your body. You're my adventure partner. Life with you is so much fun. And I mentioned that you guys, if you love skiing, they'll love skiing. You have that in common. You guys are on the same page. You enjoy those kind of same things. I so respect everything you've earned in your life. I know you've been hurt in the past. I want to protect you. So this might be this roadblock thing that I'm getting, where like at first there's something where you almost at first are upset about another relationship or something like that, or you're still hung up on that past relationship and you can't fully move on or be open to this because you're so focused on like stuff that happened in the past. And I feel like that kind of plays a role in this, but then again, we're able to move past it. It's all good. It's just having to like deal with that in some way. But then I think, you know, your person, I feel like also really wants to help you heal that. I feel they're very supportive about that. They don't like blame you for it, or they're not like, just get over it. Like, I feel like because you guys respect each other's intelligence as colleagues, they really know how smart you are, and they know that you're just, they wouldn't think of you as like, oh, they're just irrational. They really respect your mind. So they're like, if they're hurt, it must be for a reason, and they take it very seriously, and they're happy, I think, to help you like move past it. And they want to protect you, but I do feel, yeah, you have so much in common. I just feel like you guys would make great parents, to be honest, and really raise your kids on the same page. The mutual respect here just comes through so strong. And I feel like when you guys do get together, it's always exciting. It always feels like you're like a prize that this person won because they, you know, like saw you romantically for so long but couldn't get with you. So by the time they finally do, they're like, oh my God, this is like, I won a trophy or something, not in a bad way, like in a good way. They just feel so excited about being with you guys. So I really hope this resonated, pile 2. Let me know if it did in the comments. I love hearing from you guys, so definitely let me know, and make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and turn on those notifications so you find out as soon as I post. And definitely check out that Keen link in my bio to get a reading from them. They're an amazing resource and company, so definitely check that out, you guys. And I think that's about it. Oh, and my Patreon as well, that's in my bio, and I post all my additional readings over there, so definitely check that out. I'm sending you guys so much love and light, and I will see you guys in the next reading. Hopefully it won't have the lighting issues because the sun was setting, but anyway, hopefully you can see now, and I will see you guys then. So take care. Bye. Hey, pile 3, so if you guys picked this card, this is going to be your reading. You guys got Precious Time, and for your tarot, you got the 2 of Cups reversed, 9 of Wands, the Emperor, King of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, the Wheel, 4 of Swords, the Chariot, and the Knight of Wands. So I can see that Your person, I'm thinking they might come in at a time when kind of like you're recovering from a heartbreak or you're not actively looking for someone. Like you might be like, I'm kind of done with this. Like I've had my heart broken, or dated someone untrustworthy and I'm just not really as open. It's like you're not really actively looking. I don't get the vibe that this person would come in like on a dating app or something like that, to be honest. Although maybe they could, but maybe it would be a situation where you're like, oh, I'm just having fun, or I'm just here to like go on a couple dates and get to know people, but you're not like really desperate. And I think that's what gets this person's attention, because with them coming in as the Emperor and the King of Pentacles, I feel that they're kind of used to people, falling at their feet, and they're used to people being really eager to date them. And the fact that like you're not so interested at first, or you're just very independent, I think it really inspires them to kind of want to move towards you very strongly. With the Nine of Wands, there is this perception, I think, that you guys have some kind of status, or they might have to fight others off to be with you. But I feel like they kind of like that. I feel that that's attractive to them. And also that this person could have a lot of people after them and interested in them. I do feel like a lot of you guys might have already connected with this person on the astral plane, because you got the Four of Swords. And I do think some of you guys have a spiritual connection with this person. I will say that their energy is coming through as very, I don't want to say demanding, but it's like they are the Emperor. They like things to be their way, and they're coming through very strong. Like, I'm hearing that song from Ariana Grande where she says, I want it, I got it. So that makes sense, because I always associate that with higher pentacle energy, and they are the King of Pentacles. So probably pretty wealthy as well, and used to just achieving things and getting it done. And maybe that's why they like a little bit of a challenge. It's kind of like when you have mastered a certain game, like you get bored with it and you want a new challenge, you want something interesting. And I feel that you serve that partially because you guys are a little closed off, to be honest. So there does seem to be some kind of heartbreak that actually precipitates this. So I would think this would come in either directly after a heartbreak, or you guys are just, there was a heartbreak in the past, and then you're kind of like, you know what, I'm just going to learn from this, and I'm just going to work on myself. I don't really need a person, I'm just good. I'm just going to focus on me, and I'm just going to maybe be alone, and that's okay. And you're not really coming at it with like an energy of like, I really want this to work out, or what can I do? Like, how do I get this person to like me? You're very like independent, and I feel like you guys are pretty content in your own life. And I feel like this person is going to be very charming and really try to turn on the charm with the Knight of Wands. I feel like they are going to be very enthusiastic about being with you. This really might happen after a move. And I do think sometimes it's like when we move or we're on vacation, we're very open to the energy. Like I think of because I moved a lot, and most of the time I do the most exploring of a city or a place right after I move, because you don't really know anyone yet, and it still feels kind of exciting, like you're on vacation. Then I feel like a few weeks or months in, you start recognizing people and you start seeing the same people, and then you're like, oh, this is where I live, and it just becomes kind of boring. So sometimes someone's just more energetically open after a move, and I do feel like you guys are going to be very open, but it's not like you're desperate. It's just you're open. Like maybe you're like, sure, I'll hang out with you. Like whatever, you can show me around the town. But again, you might be trying to keep things casual or friend level, and that's what they like, is that you're not so easily impressed. So you're energetically open, but you're not jumping the gun. You're not trying to have things happen really fast. And I do feel like, again, there might have been some bad luck precipitating this with the Wheel card coming out. Maybe, again, some bad luck in love or a long period of not dating. So when they come in, it feels very exciting, kind of, or I don't even know if I would say it feels exciting for you, because I feel like a lot of you guys, honestly, you're just kind of nonplussed by them at first. You're like, whatever, it's not really going to work out. I don't really care. And I think that's what keeps this person even more interested, and more like open to you. And I do think they want to come in very strongly with the Chariot and the Knight of Wands and the Emperor. I just feel like they are going to come in like hot, like they're going to be like, I want to take you out to a really nice meal and take you to the best place in town. And they're not going to be like playing games and being wishy-washy and being like, I kind of like you, but I'm keeping my options open, and maybe we can hang out later. We can chill. We can Netflix and chill. They're not going to be sending you like those WYD, what you doing texts like at 2 a.m. It's going to be like coming correct, the right kind of dates, that kind of a thing. With precious time, I also feel like there's a message that it might happen a little bit later. So some of you guys might panic and be like, oh my God, I missed the boat. It's not happening. And definitely don't worry about that, because I think you have to kind of go through this trail of heartbreak and loss and having things not work out to get to here. So, I mean, who wouldn't want the Emperor and the King of Pentacles? Like, it's worth the wait, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think there's a little bit of heartbreak, and almost like your energy's a little, like I said, open, but just not, you're not looking like, you're not desperate. You're very happy with your own life, and honestly, you feel a little distracted. Like, I feel like you guys might be working on a project or have something in your career that's taking up a lot of your attention. And I don't know, because you're just not impressed by this person, even though I feel like they're very impressive and probably everyone else would be like really excited to go on a date with this person. You just feel like you're like, yeah, I guess we can go. Like, you know how like sometimes, especially when people are young, like they have a crush on someone and they're imagining like everything. They're imagining like, oh my God, we'll be together forever and I'm in love. And you just feel like you have a bit of an older and wiser energy where you're kind of like, we can date, I guess. So yeah, I'll go on a date with you. Like, you're not, making a Pinterest board of like your wedding with this person, as soon as they send you the first text. So you're very playing it cool, I think, and that's what they like. So let's get more cards. So we got Spirit of Place, Magic Stream, Compass, Rock Bottom, and Deep Freeze. So there's a heavy emphasis here on either travel or, like I said, moving, and something about being in a different space or place with this person can really make you guys very open to them. I feel like, again, like I said, I think sometimes when you switch locations, you're just like, it's like when you're on vacation. I grew up in DC, and like the number of times I've been to see the Washington Monument, I never even been inside. I mean, I don't, it's like, it's not interesting to me because I pass it all the time. Whereas like every time someone visits me there, they're always like, I want to see the monument. And I totally get it. It's just like when you live somewhere, you kind of take it for granted. When you're new somewhere, you're all excited. You want to see it, like, it's fresh to you. And so I just feel like you guys are either traveling, or there's a move, or there's something new in your life where even you guys might be the type to usually be totally closed off. Like, I don't even want to go on a date at all. But like, there's something about what's happening in your life where you're like, oh, okay, I'll go on a date with you, or I'll go out to the bar and meet someone. You know what I mean? That allows this to kind of happen. But the move emphasis, or the like different location, is coming through really, really strong. I almost feel like there might be some heartbreak that precipitates a move or something, like a breakup, and you're like, I can't do this. I need to move across the country. I'm done. Something like that, and so you kind of change, and maybe it seems very random, but like Spirit's kind of guiding you. And I do feel like there's some sadness that precipitates this, but I feel like this is your moment of coming out of that. And I want to mention really quick, but by the way, I forgot to say it earlier, but if you want a reading from Keen for emphasis on this and like expansion on this and more guidance, definitely check the link in my bio, keen.com/Briar, and get one from them, because they are vetted, amazing tarot readers and psychics and clairvoyants. They have everyone, so definitely check it out. But with that being said, yeah, so I think this is precipitated by some period of a little bit of sadness, and not to get you guys down in the dumps or anything, but I just feel that maybe there's a little bit of a moment of pause or pain or whatever, and then I feel like this is the opening into like, oh, it's a lot better, it's a lot happier, and it kind of precipitates a period of a lot of blessings. Like, I almost feel like this person kind of has to prove themselves to you, where it's like, at first you're like, I don't really want to hang out, but then they're very persistent, and they're like, well, come on, I'll take you out to dinner, and like, we can go to whatever place you want to go. You pick the place, and if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. I'll never call you again or something. And you're not necessarily looking, but you're like, okay, I'll go. And then and then it's a really great time and they kind of pull out all the stops and you're kind of like, they're actually kind of nice. And, or maybe they offer to like fix your car or do something really helpful for you. And maybe you usually wouldn't be like as open, but you're like, that was cool, really cool that they did that. And they really win you over. And I think they really like enjoy that too. They like that they can step up to the plate for you. It's kind of a turn on both sides. So it's okay that you're like a little vulnerable here. It's okay that you're a little like not feeling your best, because I think that kind of creates the space for this to actually happen and for them to step up a little. And your energy feels very calm at this time. It doesn't feel like you're in a frenzy or like you guys are like frantically looking for someone and you're just hoping to find anyone. It feels like you're very, very, very calm and kind of like someone has to show their value to you before you open up. So even it might be something where you're like, I don't want to go on a date. And then it's like, well, let's just go for a walk, or like, let's just grab coffee. Or I mean, I'm not really a fan of the coffee date thing, but like there's something where you're like not as open and then they kind of push you and then you're like, or I'll show you the town or I'll introduce you to this, whatever it is. And then you open up. So we got peace, passion, healing, and prosperity. So there's a heavy emphasis on healing on your part, and maybe you guys have been doing shadow work and stuff like that, because I'm getting that vibe that you guys have really been dealing with deep kind of traumas and like working through your stuff. And I think you're going to be rewarded for that with this relationship, because I feel like you're coming out of this with a very powerful energy, even though, it may seem like you took an L in this. Maybe when I'm describing it, you're like, this sounds freaking horrible. I'm going to be like sad and moping around. And it's like, no, I think you're just actually contending with your shadow work, whereas a lot of people suppress theirs, repress it, pretend it's not there, just distract themselves. It feels like you guys are really facing it head on, kind of unearthing some stuff, maybe even getting therapy or, getting Reiki healing and stuff like that. But it feels like you guys are really facing this and dealing with it. And so your energy just does not feel like a very young kind of like a butterfly flitting around all over the place and laughing all the time. It feels a lot older. It feels like you're just more relaxed. And so, you can be a young person with an older energy. So that could definitely be the case. But for a lot of you guys, it could be in your 30s or 40s. There's just a lot of wisdom that I generally associate with older age, because with age comes wisdom, but sometimes there's a really wise young person, and a lot of people who also have stelliums or a lot of planets in the kind of latter half of the zodiac. I would say starting around Virgo is when we start getting into the older age vibe of the zodiac. And you guys might have like a lot of planets in Capricorn or Aquarius or Pisces, and you just come off as like an oldie, you know what I mean? Because you have a lot of that wisdom. So I don't know, but there's just something here where you're very chill. You're not so impressed. You're not like, you're not blown away when they like want to shower you with gifts or want to take you out on the town. You're just kind of like, okay. And I think that they like that. Even though that might sound counterintuitive, like, oh, so I'm just going to be really ungrateful. No, they like the fact that you're a little bit of a challenge, because again, most of the time, most of the people they're with would be so thrilled and overjoyed and like screaming and giggling and laughing, and they kind of like that you're just very relaxed. What's coming to mind is like Lisa Bonet, because she has that energy and everyone's like, oh my God, like I can't believe she got with Jason Momoa. And it's like, I'm not surprised at all, because she has that like kind of high priestess type of energy, wiser. She is older than him. And I'm sure he's had lots of women throwing themselves at him, but he wanted to get with the woman that is a lot like holding herself a little bit at bay, has a little bit of a higher standard that he had to rise up to. Because when you're a man that can get any woman in town and you can literally have whoever you want, you don't want that. You want a little bit of a challenge. So, that's exciting to you. So don't mistake this for me saying that you guys are going to be like downers or anything. I just think you feel very wise and very like into yourself and your own energy, and not so much looking for others for validation. You're just like a little bit self-protective. And I think that's when this person comes in. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was precipitated by a painful event. A lot of times that's just how things roll. You gain wisdom and stuff through pain. So I don't know, but I don't want to freak you guys out or anything, but it could, it could happen at any point. Sometimes you're doing shadow work for years and kind of carrying around heavy energy, and then you kind of release it. But rest assured that this relationship is going to be very sexy. We got passion. We got the Knight of Wands. I feel like this person's going to be really amazing and just go above and beyond in bed with you. Like they just want to please you so much. And they probably have a lot of wealth as well. And again, they're very wanting to impress you. So I feel like there's kind of a peacefulness about you. There's a chillness, a stillness. It just feels like relaxed, calm, and like you're not running around in a frenzy trying to like hit up all the bars and meet people. It just isn't that way. So we got hostilities, blossoming abundance, journey, seventh chakra archangel Uriel, and goddess of the moon. So very psychic energies here, and I picked up on that in the initial tarot card pull with the Four of Swords, that I wouldn't be surprised if some of you guys have connected with this person on the astral plane, because I do feel like I brought up Lisa Bonet, and you guys do seem like you have a spiritual quality to you where there is a deep, deep spiritual awareness. And I feel like you guys have a very active crown chakra, as we can see here with seventh chakra archangel Uriel. I feel like you guys definitely have a level of psychic abilities and maybe claircognizance or something. You just seem like you know things, and maybe you do tarot yourselves or do other magical practices, but I think you have a little bit of a witchy vibe. Maybe this is the vibe I'm picking up on, is like you're kind of 1 foot here in this dimension, you're kind of 1 foot in the astral plane, and I think that this just intrigues this person. And it might even be that like at first you come off a little hostile, like a little like, I don't want to talk to you. Who are you? You know? Because again, you definitely come off like you take a minute to win over. And I feel like, again, this person, I think they're pretty used to charming people. I think they're pretty much a charmer. I think they're attractive. They can turn on the charm. We did get Knight of Wands. So I think that they are very like kind of surprised when you first come in and you're not feeling it as much. You're just like, oh, okay. And you have money. Oh, cool. Anyway, like you're not like rubbing your hands together like, oh yeah, I love this guy, he's awesome. You're like, let me take a step back, and I don't know you, I don't care about you. Anyway, good for you, God bless. Anyway, I'm focused on myself. You might already be abundant yourself, or money might not be your focus. I'm not getting a strong message that you would already have a lot of money or not, but you have a lot of spiritual wealth. Like you're very spiritually knowledgeable, and that is a great skill to use. And I feel like you guys are very focused on this spiritual journey. And but some of you guys might have your own money, but either way, you're going to get money through this marriage for sure, because this is a very wealthy person, I think. So let me get some songs, by the way, for you guys. What is the vibe of this relationship? Rehab, Rihanna, okay. Bluebeard, Band of Horses, okay. Nightmare, Miley Cyrus. Okay, I mentioned dreams. I didn't think they were going to be nightmares, but I do think you have active dreams. I Remember, Yesayer. Someday, The Strokes. Okay. Gorgeous, Taylor Swift. False God, Taylor Swift. Oh my God, that's funny. I told you guys this person would be willing to go above and beyond in bed. And if you know what that song's about, and like the pun that she's making, you know what I'm talking about that. I can't say it on YouTube, but you can always check out my little 18 plus ratings on Patreon if you want to go into that detail. I can't say anything else. So like I said, that above and beyond, we'll say that. Okay, so High by the Beach, Lana Del Rey. That is such a great vibe for this song, because you guys feel not inebriated or anything, but you feel very chill. Some of you guys might be into that, like a little bit of the hippie kind of vibe and maybe some substances or something, but it feels very relaxed. Like it feels like you're just chilled out, blissed out. Like you're not in a frenzy. You're not someone who is super stressed and nervous all the time, honestly, at this point in your life. It feels like there's almost a resignation or kind of just calmness that I think comes with age. Like I think sometimes, you know, when you think about like age, and this is how the older zodiac signs are generally really chill. Pisces, Aquarius, honestly Capricorn to a certain extent, although they do tend to get like, you know, very diligent about their work and stuff. But most of the time you don't see those higher zodiac signs, people who have stelliums there, freaking out about small stuff because they're just basically old people, to be honest. It's like if you ever go to a nursing home, you're never going to see like the lady there who's like 85 being like, I was talking to the nurse and she didn't give me enough applesauce. And then I feel like she kind of gave me a look. I don't think she likes me. I think that like the thing is she gave her more applesauce than me. And I just got the vibe from her. Like you never see that. You know what I mean? That's like a young person thing, is like to overthink, to have the energy to constantly overthink and run around and think yourself in circles. And when you get older, you just stop caring. You're just like, whatever. She doesn't like me. I don't care. And you don't stress out as much. And that's the vibe here, is like you're not as stressed, you're just really calm. And honestly, a lot of this, I'm getting some of you guys have a past love or something like this that was like did a number on you, or was a heartbreak, major heartbreak, or you're still in love with them or something. I don't know, because we got a lot of energies and songs about that. So I'm getting for some of you guys, but I don't feel this is an ex. I feel that this would be someone new, but it's almost like because you don't care, maybe because you're still thinking about your ex. And so you're just so calm that it works really well, that you actually end up being very attractive as a result of it, because you're, like I said, you're not desperate. You're like, oh, I've already been in love, didn't work out, whatever. I already had my heart broken once. What else? What else could happen? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think this person, it's almost like they take that as a badge of honor of like, well, I'm going to win you over. I'm going to erase this other person from your minds. Yeah. And they love that. And I think over time, like they do a good job of it. I feel like they are like willing to go the extra mile for you, and very like, especially in bed, I gotta be honest, and I'm not trying to turn this into like a sexy reading, because we don't do that on YouTube. We listen to the rules, but you might want to check out my Patreon if you're curious about that. But I just, yeah, this wasn't coming up in any other piles, but this person really wants to please you in that way, and I think in a lot of ways. So let's get more cards though. Let's move on, because they're trying to make this into a risque reading, and we can't allow that. Okay, we got Dust Devil, moving out of stagnation. Perfect Storm, the courage to step into life. Magician's Sword, confidence in your magic. Heart Home, compassion, and Lay of the Land, ancestral wisdom. You guys are just such a spiritual pile. Like I literally am just feeling so much spiritual energy. I can feel so much activity in my crown chakra and third eye as well. You might be doing like literal magic, some of you guys, depending. But you guys might be very aware of astrology, tarot, and all this stuff. I just feel like this is my spiritual pile. But there's an element here, like I said, where you guys are kind of pulling yourselves away from the world. A lot of spiritual people do this. Is it's like, why would I want to go out and deal with like the people with toxic energy when I could just stay and chill and do my magic and, you know, kind of just do my thing alone, you know? But I think there's an energy, there's something that preempts this, that forces you out into the world. So maybe a move, or maybe a travel, or something where you're kind of being more active and outgoing than you usually would. And that's how you meet this person. So it doesn't feel like you're out on the prowl, looking, desperately hoping. It feels like you're just like, well, I guess we can go to this restaurant. And maybe usually you wouldn't go out, or maybe you usually would stay at home on a Tuesday night, but you kind of force yourself into that a little, or you just, whatever is precipitating this is causing that. I definitely could see you guys meeting out at a restaurant or something like that. Like it feels like it's kind of a random way of meeting. It feels like it's like a run-in or honestly, I'm also getting you guys are very physically attractive. So I feel that they might see you across the room or something and just be like, I have to go over and talk to them. Or like, let me bump it, let me fake bump into them at the bar, or like, let me like run up to the bar when they go up to refill their drink and just be like, oh, hi. Oh, what are you drinking? And, start a conversation with them, because they definitely, I feel like they spot you across the room and they're just very drawn to you. Um, yeah, I think you guys honestly have, let's get some astro dice too, because I think you guys have a very witchy vibe. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some Scorpio here, but it could also be Cancer or Pisces. Um, and I think that gives a certain magnetism that some people like, some people dislike, but you come off a little witchy and a little, I want to say occulty, or like there's a little like depth and layers, and people are kind of intrigued, maybe some of them a little frightened, but let's get some astro dice and see what's going on here. So we got Gemini, Venus, and 11th house. So Venus energy rules Taurus, Libra, it rules the 2nd house and the 7th house. We got Gemini, that rules the 3rd house and relates to Mercury, and 11th house, Aquarius, and Uranus. So yeah, 11th house could definitely be like you're out with friends, you get introduced through friends, or also I'm getting for some of you guys, they might find you through your social media or something like that. It feels like a lot of you guys are very involved in a certain project. I don't know what this is. It could be something with social media, or it feels like it's a passion project. It doesn't feel like you're just like at your 9-to-5 job and just obsessing over it and working for someone else. It feels like a lot of you guys would make your own schedule, or be entrepreneurs, or have some kind of, like I said, project, social media, or something that you genuinely enjoy doing. And you're kind of working on that on your own. And I think this is one of the reasons why you're just not as impressed. Like, if you were just bored and hated your 9-to-5 life, you probably would be like overjoyed to meet this person. But because you already like your life, you feel pretty independent, self-reliant, you're kind of like, okay, it's okay. Yeah, it's nice to meet you. You're not so overjoyed for it. So, 11th house definitely has to do with social media as well. So that's definitely an energy with Gemini, 3rd house. I definitely feel like this person respects your brain and how you think. You guys are probably highly intelligent. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. And they feel like a little bit of a smooth talker. Like, I feel like they would know what to say to you. And again, I'm getting the vibe that when you first meet them, you might not be so talkative. You might be like, oh, okay, well, what do you do? Oh, I do this. And you're not like trying to charm them, but they're trying to charm you and trying to draw you out and trying to get you to open up a little. You know what I mean? Not all of you are closed off. Some of you guys might be chatty and talkative, but there's a lot of mystery hanging around you guys. Like, even if you're chatty and talkative, there's still a lot of layers and depth and complexity here. With Venus, again, physical beauty is coming out really strong, and them just being very drawn to you. Like, it's like with Lisa Bonet, she's obviously like physically stunning, and that's one of the reasons why it's like she, her whole vibe works so well, is like because it's also like, wow, that's just a physically incredible looking person. So yeah, like, so that, there's like layers usually to someone having a certain level of sex appeal, is like you need multiple ingredients. You can't just have one and then that's enough. It feels like you guys are coupling with this kind of witchy depth to you, and also a little bit, I don't want to say standoffish, but like just being focused on your self-growth, self-development with the beauty. And that's what I think is so captivating to this person. Yeah. So you definitely could meet through friends or have someone introduce you. I'm just not getting the vibe that it would be through like Tinder or a matchmaking service or something. Crib, birth or conception of a child or enterprise. Dogs, getting together with friends. Elephant, a long journey. Either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. You're very wise, like I've been saying. Scales, keep your life in balance. Key, successful outcome to your problems. And flowers, happiness. Like I said, this person's going to turn on the charm with you. They really want to go out of their way to impress you, to to really kind of turn you on and get you excited. And I feel like they're going to do that in kind of like old-fashioned courting, bringing flowers, bringing chocolates, wanting to just have big romantic gestures for you. I also feel like if with this message of time, I think sometimes people really want to rush good things, but good things do take time. Just like if you want to plant a field of delicious, I don't know, my favorite fruit, probably watermelons. So delicious watermelons. You can't just look down at the ground like 2 hours after you posted it and be like, what the heck? What's going on? We need the watermelons now. And if you try to do something to like speed it up, you'd probably ruin the plants. Like you just have to be patient. That's just how the world works. There's just, I mean, God can make something happen overnight, but a lot of times these things, these really good blessings take time. So if you guys are stressing out about like, oh my gosh, like I need to have kids by XYZ, or I need to get married by XYZ, like just don't, just you will be able to have kids if that's something you guys want. And so they're definitely strongly indicating that. With dogs getting together with friends, I feel like they really are intrigued by your friend groups. Like it's like their friends are very impressed by you because you are super smart and come off as very deep. So you're not just like, oh, she's physically attractive, but she's not really, or he's physically attractive, but he's kind of like a meathead. You know what I mean? It's like you're very intelligent, you're very smart, and they really like that and respect you. They're kind of intimidated by you a little, to be honest. And I feel like your friends are cool, smart, and you kind of keep your circle small. And again, there's a lot of respect to that. So this person's willing to put on the luxury. They really lock into you, I feel, right away. So we got new love, chemistry, trust. This could be the one, calling in your soulmate. I feel like you guys, some of you have already met this person on the astral plane for sure. So if you're like, I did see some guy in a dream, but I don't know if that was real. That's real. That's how the things work. So pay attention to stuff like that. Like if you have a really crazy dream and there's some man in it and you feel like that's your soulmate, that's your soulmate. Like that's spirit, So don't second guess those things. Because I feel like a lot of you guys have already connected with them. In that way. You'll have to tell me in the comments because I just know this pile is like psychic ability on point. And then with new love, like I really feel like even though a lot of you guys have an ex that you probably think about and you're probably like, could it be them or getting back together? The answer I feel is this is new. This is a new love. This is not your ex. Partially the ex prompts and kicks off this period of growth and this period of like spirituality that allows you to grow into this powerhouse that you are when you enter into this relationship. And it's almost like because you're hung up on it is why you're so relaxed this whole time. Because like when you really don't care, you just don't care, and you're not going to be, sometimes just when you care so much, it brings up the anxiety, it makes the energy off, it makes it anxious, you start acting weird. You're not doing that. You're very calm the whole time. And so even though you might be sad about the ex, it's actually a huge blessing that you didn't end up with them, and this person's a lot better and I feel can give you a way better life. I feel like this person's way more financially successful and just has their life on point so much more than this ex. And you have a lot of chemistry with them. So don't be thinking that, oh my gosh, so I'm not going to have chemistry or it's not this passionate relationship. It is. How many times do I need to say this? Like, oh my gosh, there's so much chemistry here, you guys. Okay, there's so much chemistry. You guys, I feel it's almost like at first, again, you're just not, it's not that they're not cute or something. It's just your energy is very closed off. Okay, they are cute and they are, like I said, they're going to go above and beyond. We got False God by Taylor Swift. So look up that song and what the hidden meaning is. If you can't get it from me and figure out what I'm trying to say, look it up. Yeah, look up the subtext of that, or go to my Patreon and watch all those 18+ ratings because I can't go too much into it, but I'm telling you, you have good chemistry. You guys are going to be really on fire with each other. So this is really good. And I like the fact that they're really winning you over and it's almost like that dynamic never ends. But when they'll come in is right after, or once you're healed a lot and have been doing healing work and you're dealing with that. And again, your energy's a little closed, but that's what the appeal is. and probably after a move. Like it feels like there's a move, and because of that, a lot of times, like I said, when you make a move too, you're kind of figuring out like, okay, what hardware store should I go to? What's my local library? What's my favorite restaurant? So you're trying new spots. You're going to different places. Once you've been in a city for a while, you're like, oh, I'll just go to this place. Oh, I get my pizza from there. Oh, I'll get my, Chinese food from here. Like you have your spots that you love, but you're not really venturing out into the world, and maybe you get to the restaurant and you're like, oh, and can we get that back corner booth? Like, you know exactly where to go. If you're like me and you're, particular, you know where to go. So I feel like you're very much more open energetically for whatever reason. So it could be a vacation or something, but yeah, I feel like you guys feel on point when you meet them with your life, with your job. You're happy with it. And that's why they got to step up. But it feels like a beautiful relationship. And they're always kind of trying to win your approval, which I think is a good dynamic, actually. I think that's pretty healthy for masculine, feminine vibe. For the masculine to be trying to win over the feminine always. It's good actually for testosterone levels, literally. Anyway, I can't help but be jealous at the thought of you with someone else. You're my best friend. Aw. They really trust you. We have the same sense of humor. They trust you because you guys are so smart and spiritually aware. We spent past lifetimes together. Can't wait to start a family with you. Oh, okay. I love our serious discussions. Life is so much fun with you. You are so beautiful. Yep. Let me see if there's, I'm feeling there might be one down here. Oh my God. Lately, my guides have been really on point with like telling me, like directing me which ones to pick, because last time I had the craziest thing where I was like, I keep hearing Beyonce All Night in my head, and we pulled Beyonce All Night, and it was like after I was like, but there's one more, and I swear I'm not a magician. I'm not doing sleight of hand. There's no hidden sleeves. So anyway, yeah, you guys dream about each other. I really feel like a lot of you guys have seen them in a dream or a meditative state. So pay attention to that. Don't discount it. Don't be like, oh, it's just a random fantasy. No, no, no. Like that's how these things work. So pay attention. And also they might be a little jealous, which makes sense with the Knight of Wands. But I feel like, hey, like I said, I like this vibe. They have a high elevated testosterone. They are willing to please you. That's actually healthy. Obviously, crazy, insane jealousy where someone's a psychotic weirdo is not healthy, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about someone who, wants to rise to the occasion and win you over. And actually, that's literally a healthy dynamic, like the Mars Venus type thing. It is in Mars energy to go for the goal and to try and to, want to achieve. And that's not a bad thing at all in a relationship. It's obviously if it's out of balance, yeah, that's a problem. But to have this kind of vibe, I like this. I think this is very sweet. They think you're very beautiful. And like I said, if you want to start a family and you're like, but I can't wait that long. Like, again, this might take a little bit of time because it's better, but when it's God's timing and God's plan, you'll have everything you want, including that family. So don't worry about like, oh, if I'm that age, I can't, it will come in perfectly. So I do feel like you guys will be able to get pregnant. If you're worried about that, there's a lot of fear mongering about that in the media, but trust me, lots of women have babies, by the way, in like their 40s. Both my grandparents did. So I'm not saying that will happen. I don't think you have to be older to have this vibe, but your energy's older, like you've been through something. So it could be younger, but there's a lot of maturity and wisdom here, and I love that. I think this is so healthy to start a family in this vibe of like already having done your shadow work. You guys might have felt drawn to pile one a little bit because there was some similarities. So if you did feel drawn to that pile, definitely check that out. But yeah, I love this for you guys. I think you guys really end up very happy with this vibe, and it might not have been, you might have been thinking about this ex, but this is so much better. So let me know how it resonates in the comments, guys. I love hearing from you. So definitely let me know. Make sure to check out also that Keen link to get a reading from them. They're amazing. They do fantastic job. So definitely check that out. And my Patreon, you can see my 18 plus readings over there. Link is in my bio for that as well. I think that's about it. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. And that's it. So I'll see you next time. And I'm sending you so much love and light, guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye. Hey, pile four. So if you guys picked this card, this is going to be your reading. So you guys got the Queen of the Light. And for your tarot, you guys got the Lover, Ace of Swords, the Hanged Man reversed, Eight of Pentacles, Three of Cups reversed, the Fool reversed, Five of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, and the Seven of Cups. So I can see that first of all, with the Lovers coming out, the first card, this is going to be a very deep relationship, very deep and intense, and kind of like a soulmate type of vibe. Honestly, something that's coming to mind is, and I don't want anyone to freak out, but someone might be in another relationship at the time you meet your future spouse. And honestly, for some of you guys, I know I'm going to get negative comments when I say this, but it is what it is. I have to be honest. It might be someone from your past. It might be an ex, not everyone, but it might be an ex that kind of comes back, because with the Fool reversed, it might be like a not something that new, like something that you're reconsidering as well. With the Hanged Man reversed like that, I feel like maybe there's something that you thought you put in the past and it's like now it's back, and actually we can work it out this time and we can have a different perspective on it. Maybe someone you couldn't stop thinking about with the Seven of Cups. So for others of you, it might just be that this person or you might be in another relationship when you meet them. So it might be that you're dating someone, but you meet them, and it's funny. I see you guys having not conflict necessarily with the Five of Wands, but almost like there's things to be worked out. You know what I mean? There's like discussions to be had. There's like it doesn't feel like it's just an easy, smooth sailing road, but I think sometimes those are the most compelling love stories, right? Like every romance novel or romantic movie, they all are like, they break up, they get back together. There's some kind of drama. There's some kind of, because that's what brings the emotion. You know what I mean? That's what makes people really care about a situation. Like if it was just so easy, if it was like they just meet, they start dating, they get engaged, they have a kid, like it would be boring. No one would want to like watch a movie about that, so there needs to be a little something. And I feel like there might be a discussion, or there might be like, you guys are looking at each other from across the room, but one or both of you is dating someone else and it's kind of off limits. And so you're trying to ignore it. And then eventually, there's some kind of a discussion of like, we need to like give this a shot, or like, why are you avoiding me, or something like that. And then I feel like that's when you guys can come together. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys met this person through a friend of yours, or like maybe they're dating a friend of yours, or you're dating one of their friends, or that situation where you guys were together, then you broke up, but you always stay on each other's minds. But one thing I definitely see in common is some kind of hashing out of the issues, one period of kind of like reconciling with the emotions and dealing with what you guys are kind of holding back. Like I feel like there's a period of thinking about each other, but it being off limits and not being able to come together romantically, but you never stay off each other's minds. And eventually, just being like, we can't ignore this anymore. And one thing I think is great about this is that I think you guys actually end up working a lot on your issues and come out of this a lot stronger. So like if you were together earlier but then broke up, it feels like when you guys come together, you're a lot more mature and a lot more capable of handling things than you were at the time. And I feel this is just a massive benefit to your relationship, because there's more of a maturity here. So like when there is another issue or when there is a disagreement, you guys know how to speak to each other and handle it and like talk in a way that's productive, not just angry, not just flying off the handle and being like, screw you, but like, talking things out in a very mature way. It's almost like sometimes once when something is hard won, I think you just appreciate it a lot more. So when it is like, I've had a crush on this person for years, but we weren't together, you're going to just appreciate it more than if you just got together from day one and it was smooth sailing, or when you had to stare across the room at them while someone else was dating them, or when you broke up and you were without them for years and you were missing them and you never felt that way with anyone else. When it comes back, you're going to take that seriously. You're going to treat it like the precious jewel it is. Just like I always say, when you value something, you take care of it, you protect it. Because love is a verb, it's not just a noun. Love is a noun as well, but I think love is kind of the seed, and then how we express it has a lot to do with our trauma, our dysfunction or lack thereof, and all the things we can work on to express ourselves in a positive way, so it feels like the love was there always, but you guys become much better at expressing it in a very healthy way, so it can be like that functional relationship and not just like crashing and burning and like passion, but we broke up, but we love each other, but we're obsessed with each other, but we can't stand each other. You know what I mean? It feels like it moves from like that kind of chaotic relationship or vibe to being very calm and like accepting the spirituality of this. Because I think sometimes also when people are in spiritual relationships that are very deep, like this one, where there's a spiritual component, it can sometimes feel like a lot to deal with, almost like a yoke around your neck, or a weight to carry. Like, oh my God, everyone else gets to have a lighthearted relationship, and here I am, we're hashing out like deep spiritual trauma with my partner, and we're dealing with like stuff from other lifetimes, and because it's like heavy. And so sometimes people can run from those spiritual connections because it pulls up all their emotions. But I think that by the time whatever this is, as it's worked out, when you guys get together, it's like, wow, we really understand each other, and we really have this deep connection, and it's so special, and I want this. So it might take a minute to come back around, or it might be a situation where, like I said, this person, when you first meet them, they're taken, they're in another relationship, and you're like, oh no, I don't do that. I don't date someone in another relationship. I would never. But you kind of can't control the attraction, and maybe then they break up with them, you know what I mean? And then suddenly that changes things, and then you're like, no, but you knew my friend first, this is weird. But eventually you're like, I have to give this a shot because my heart is in this. So let me get some song cards. We're going to do that first because I just feel called to. Spirit, can you tell me about the vibe for pile 4 and their future spouse, how they're going to meet? So we got, I'm telling you guys, I remember Yesayer. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. I'm not making it up. Beyond love, beach house. Wow. So a deep love. Delicate, Taylor Swift. And it does feel delicate. And that's what I'm saying is like, I think that song is about, like when you first get to know someone and you're really nervous and you're trying to like be on their good side and not say anything bad, and like how fragile a relationship can feel in the early stages. And I feel that's, it's good to have that awareness when someone's really special and you care about them. Sometimes we can get careless in relationships and just be like, oh, whatever, like they'll just deal with it, you know what I mean? And I feel like because this person lost you once, it's like they're going to take it so seriously and they're going to treat it like it's delicate. And I literally was about to say this, and then I, being typically ADHD, completely forgot. And I was right about to say earlier, when you have something you care about and that's precious to you, you treat it carefully. Like, I've seen the Hope Diamond at the museum, whatever museum it's at, I don't know, National Archive in DC. And that thing is behind like so many layers of glass. There's like little lasers. There's like a security guard posted next to it. I mean, it's like crazy how much security it is. So is like the Declaration of Independence. Like they don't even have that out all of the time. It's like so climate controlled and everything because it's on parchment. So it's like thin. And anyway, that's how you treat something that you care about and you value so much. You protect it. And I feel like this person really is going to take care to make things amazing, because it's like, I blew this once, I'm not blowing it again. Or like, I know I'm not going to feel this way about anyone. Let me get more cards for the vibe. We want the vibe for pile 4. Lover, Taylor Swift. Aw, I love that song. So sweet. Okay. I Will, the Beatles. You guys might be making promises to each other about like, I know this time I will do that. I promise you every morning I will bring you the newspaper in bed and your favorite coffee and a croissant, something. All coming back to me now. Oh my God, this is so X's. This is so X's. All of me wants all of you, Sufjan Stevens. Yeah. Our swords. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So Our Swords is a song about putting down our swords. And it's funny now that I do tarot, like listening to it because, you know, it's also like the sword cards in tarot, but anyway. So I feel like you guys do reach a point where you're like, we need to put down these swords. We need to stop fighting, and we're not gonna be going head to head with each other. Maybe this is like that type of spark of a relationship. But I could also see this just being, to be honest, like maybe a little contentious or something when you first meet. Like, you know, like there's so many movies made of stuff like this, or like books where there's like two coworkers that kind of hate each other at first, and then that's covering up for like their strong feelings. Because you know what they say, the opposite of hate, or like, yeah, the opposite of hate is not love, it's indifference. Because love is a strong emotion, and when you just don't care about someone, that's really the ultimate like insult, I guess. When you really do care about someone and maybe you're feisty with them, there's something there, right? And so there may be some feistiness here. This could be a few different things because it's a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. But for a lot of you guys, it might be an ex, or someone you're in a relationship with at a certain point, but you got to have a conversation about like, no, I'm done with this, or I'm breaking up with you in the moment, or like, you need to act better. You need to act right about this, you know? You need to come correct next time. Don't be coming in here in a bad mood and with a bad attitude to the date. You know what I mean? Something like that. You need to tell them and lay down the law. And that's okay. Sometimes you need to do that. You know, sometimes you need to just be like, no, I'm leaving. Because if they need to learn that lesson, then they need to learn that lesson. If someone's acting crazy, then that's that. But I feel like you guys there might be a breakup here and then you reunite or something. And then White Mustang is sticking out to me, but I'm not sure what. I'm trying to recount the lyrics in my mind. I know she says when she first sees him in his white Mustang, smoking a cigarette, I think. And I feel like it's just that kind of like iconic seeing someone from a distance and being like, wow, they're really attractive. And kind of this forbidden. And you know what coming to mind with that song is he sounds like a little bit of a bad boy, which I know, what a shock that Lana Del Rey would write a song about a bad boy, right? That's kind of her thing. Heartbreaking type men. But that's kind of the vibe, maybe a little, is like this guy, you know, maybe you gotta kind of, sometimes, you know, especially when a guy is like dating all over town, you know, he can get really cocky, and you gotta kind of, like I said, lay down the law with them, because it's like, they get a little too like big of a head, you know what I mean? So maybe there's something like this where you're like, no, don't treat me like all the other girls. Don't do that. And then they come back and, you know, they're eventually like, no, I am going to treat you. I don't need you. I'm getting all this attention. And then eventually you break up with them. Then they realize no one can compare to you, something like that. I don't know. Let's get more cards and see what else Spirit has to say. So we got Stuck in the Mud, Encouragement, Intention, Storm Fields, and Ride the Wave. So it does feel like there's an energy where things either get stuck, or there's like a break in communication or something. Like, it's not always just super calm and smooth sailing. With Storm Fields, there may be fighting. I just heard the line from The Notebook, which that movie always comes up in my readings, even though I swear to God, I must sound like I'm like obsessed with that movie. I'm some obsessive freak that rewatches it every day. I have seen it a few times, maybe like, I don't know, 3 times in my life, but I don't know. There must be some romantic archetypes really woven into that, because it always comes up. But anyway, I feel like in that movie, he says something like, that's what we do. We fight, then we make up, then we fight again. And that's kind of like the vibe that's coming up. I know that might not sound that appealing, but the vibe is you guys are attracted to each other. And then there's like this deep calling to each other, but then there's this contentiousness, like we don't get along, we don't see eye to eye to everything, but it adds this heat and this passion, and it's not boring. It's never boring, you know? And you kind of get stuck on each other. Like, it's like, I'm trying to date. I don't want to be hung up on this annoying person who I'm always arguing with, and they're so annoying, but I can't really, they're the only one I really like. So unfortunately, I'm kind of stuck on them, you know? So yeah, I feel like I feel like there's this passion and this heat coming through really strong. And it might be a spiritual love. You guys might know each other from other lifetimes. I keep getting that kind of vibe. So I think it is like a bit of a, with Ride the Wave, it's kind of a journey. It's kind of like just strap yourself in and we're taking off on the roller coaster. You know what I mean? And make sure your hands and feet stay inside the compartment at all times because we are off and rolling. So this is like, it's a journey. You know, it's not just like a boring one-dimensional relationship. Nothing wrong with that, but this is like, there's a lot of layers here. So let's get more cards. Ooh. Okay, that one says adjacent. I'll just, since that one wanted to come out so early, I'll just turn it over. We got life purpose, answers, spirit guide, and adjacent possibilities. I definitely think there's a spiritual component here. And there's something about your spiritual growth linked into this. Like, it's almost like maybe both of you need to compromise a little bit, need to learn to compromise. And like, I know for me, I've had the biggest spiritual growth through like disappointments or things that didn't work out that taught me, you know, things I could change in relationships, you know, and I wouldn't have made those changes if I didn't care about the person, you know, or if I wouldn't have reflected on it if I hadn't had heartbreak from it, you know. So I think sometimes that those relationships can be spiritually divinely appointed, and if you guys are supposed to get back together, you will. And so sometimes it's about like it's kind of like, you know, when you're a little kid and maybe you're like fighting with another little kid and like one of the parents will come over and they'll be like, both of you go to timeout, think about what you did, and when you can act right, then you can come back together and hang out again. But like right now, you in that corner and you in that corner, and you have to think about what you did wrong. And then both of you go to the corner and you have to think about like, maybe I shouldn't have said that, maybe I shouldn't have hit them, maybe I shouldn't have, whatever you did. Obviously when you're a little kid and you hit someone, it's a little different. Obviously it's way different. I mean, no one should be hitting an adult, you know, like that's really bad. So I'm not saying that should be going on, but you know, sometimes like you need to learn of like what your behavior was bad and how you might have hurt them, even if you didn't intend to. So, not saying there's any hitting going on. Obviously that's a totally different topic. It would be a much darker reading. I'm not picking up on that. I'm just saying, like, you know, when little kids like playfully hit each other, that was the vibe. But anyway, with adjacent possibilities, I definitely get the vibe that you guys might be dating other people when you guys get together, and there's options. Both of you feel like you have options. Both of you are attractive. Both of you guys have, I think, offers to go on different dates. And that's probably maybe why, you know, sometimes when someone's a runner in a relationship, like they get scared by the intensity or something, it's way easier if they have like a bunch of girls on speed dial or a bunch of dudes on speed dial, you know, that they can just call up anytime and run off with them. Then they don't really have to sit with their emotions as much, because it's like, who are you? Like, I have 5 dates lined up for the rest of this week and I don't care about you. But I think that none of these people really compare to you. So both of you guys might be dating around, might be with other people, but your heart keeps going back to them. So the other cards we got from that deck are attachment, second chakra archangel Ariel, the temple path, and the sun. So with second chakra archangel Ariel, I definitely think you guys have a very like I'll just say sexual, I'll just say the word sexual connection, and there's this very much heat and passion deep within both of you guys for each other. Also, there's stuff that kind of, like I said, it needs to be worked out with, like, you know, maybe a little bit of toxicity, like, you know, childhood behavior that, like, you know, I think a lot of this dysfunctional relationship patterns is stuff you pick up in childhood, whether it's avoidant or overly attached or anxiously attached or whatever they're all called. You know, the dysfunctional patterns we have in like an argument of saying something that's XYZ, that's too out of line, or saying something that is, or not saying anything because we hate conflict and we can't handle it. And that can also be traced into the astrology. You know, if you have an Aries Mercury, you're going to be a lot more blunt than if you have a Libra Mercury, and you're not going to want to say anything if you have a Libra Mercury, you know, to be honest, probably you're going to be just like, no, it's fine. And that can have its own problems. And then it can also be a problem if you're an Aries Mercury and you just say whatever the heck you're thinking, you know. So there's things that like kind of need to be worked through that are going to come up. I think this relationship, it's going to kind of purge it up, bring it all up, bring up all the pain, and then we can deal with it and then we can move on. And I do feel like there's a lot of spiritual growth happening here with the temple path. There's so much spiritual growth. It's like this is a divinely appointed relationship to make you guys grow and to make you come into the best version of yourself. And I see you guys growing together and having this beautiful sun happy energy. But it's just like we just gotta deal with this stuff and work it out. And I think you guys will. I think this is why sometimes spirit makes you so obsessed with someone, is because it's like that's the only way you'll do the work. Like it's like if someone offers you, you know, have you ever had someone offer you like a horrible prize to do something? Like if like at a workplace or something, someone will be like, and whoever wins the prize gets you know, gets like a $5 coupon to the local dollar store. And you're like, I'm not, what do you mean? I'm not staying late and like, you know, trying to put in extra hours for like every day this week to get a $5 coupon. You know, it's like comical almost. But when it's something amazing, when it's like a grand prize trip to like Jamaica, you're going to be hustling in that office every night. You're going to be trying hard to get it. So I feel like you guys are like the grand prize trip to Jamaica, where they're willing to put the work in, you're willing to put the work in for them. And there's a very spiritual connection. Okay, so let's get some astro dice. What is the energy here, Spirit? What's the energy here for pile 4? So, we got Libra. As I said, Libra. We got it. Got him. We got 7th house, aka Libra. Oh, and that just spun around again. So now it's 12th house, which is Pisces. So I guess we'll read for both since we already have Libra. But it was 7th house, which is Libra. So then we got 12th house, Pisces, Neptune, and we got Pluto. And this is definitely a Plutonian type of connection for sure, like Scorpio vibes, like I can't quit you, I want all of you. And I am hearing all of me wants all of you by Sufjan Stevens, which is that, do we get that? I know we got a Sufjan Stevens song, but I don't know if it was that or what. But anyway, yes, we did. Wow. Okay. All of me wants all of you. So I'm hearing that in my mind, and I feel like for you guys, yeah, it's like you guys are trying to resist this connection with this person. Like you're like, no, this person isn't good for me, like I deserve better or whatever. But I'm hearing I can't quit you also from Brokeback Mountain. So that is definitely Pluto energy. You know, Pluto is the energy that wants to, and I can't talk too much about it because like we got to keep it PG, but you know, Pluto rules and Scorpio rules sexuality for a reason. And they also rule private detectives and uncovering secrets for a reason. And it's because, you know, when you have sex with someone, you're seeing them at their most naked, literally and figuratively. You're seeing them at their most vulnerable. And that's really what Scorpio craves, is a full merging, the fullest merging of two souls that can happen. And people who have like Scorpio North nodes or possibly Scorpio South nodes can have issues with that, with like just wanting that full merging with souls, and Scorpio Venus, of course. And I just feel like there's this push-pull kind of, but also Scorpio's ancient ruler is Mars. So there can be this passion, heat, and kind of fighting energy that comes into play too sometimes. So it's kind of like this craving for someone, but then also like being on guard a little. And being a little ready, like, oh, are they going to betray me? And so, yeah, I think there's a very obsessive type of energy that sometimes it's like, we got to work through that, you know? It's okay to have that obsession, but like learning to moderate it, learning to like kind of chill a little bit, because, you know, Venus is actually debilitated here in Scorpio because it's too craving of everything. It's too craving of like, I want every piece of you. I want all of you, which I kind of feel like is the vibe here. And then it's actually exalted in Pisces. So if we can move from here to Pisces, and Pisces is very loving and accepting, and they're actually kind of sibling. I mean, they're both water signs. They're very similar. They're kind of an archetypal match in many ways, but they don't express it the same way at all. And Pisces is much more like easygoing about like going with the flow and seeing the best and not assuming the worst and like giving someone some space. Pisces is all about that because it's the fish, so it wants space, it'll swim away. And so I feel like there's kind of this learning that like we don't need to hold each other so close. We can actually give each other a little bit of distance, a little bit of calmness, and you'll come back and I trust you. And so like building this trust. Then with Libra, this is a lot of exalted love energy, to be honest. Libra is ruled by Venus. It's also the 7th house. And so I feel like this is a soulmate connection. And also with Libra, again, Libra can be that energy that has trouble speaking up and wants everything to be peaceful and calm and wants everyone to get along. So when it comes to a relationship, you know, that's why Mars is debilitated in Libra. So we got Venus debilitated in Scorpio, Mars debilitated in Libra, because Libra will never, like, Mars and Libra will never tell you like what's wrong. Like it's like pulling teeth to them. They'll just be like, it's fine. No, everything's cool. So I feel like there's like discussions that need to be had, things worked out. And also Libra can be a big player. So can both Scorpio and Pisces. So, you know, again, there might be like a little bit of almost like taking offense or kind of like, oh my God, they're just a player. They're so annoying. Why are they talking to all these girls? And almost like someone trying to be a player for a while and trying to be like, I don't care about you, I'm playing the field. But that's not the truth. And really their heart is with, you know, you or them, or whatever part of the equation this is. Their heart is with the other person, but they might be trying to play the field and be a little, you know, charismatic Libra and, you know, going around all over town and flirting with everyone, which Libras totally definitely do. They can deny it, but they definitely do. Like all Libras are like flirts extraordinaire. Anyway, let's get more cards. So we got Root Girl, the disowned self, Stars in the Sky, endless limitless possibility, dream thief, refusal of the call, vanishing mirror, ego, sublimation, drifter, experiencing life as it comes. So like I was saying at first, there might be a little bit of resistance to this refusal of the call. There might be a little bit of like, oh, no, we're not. No, I don't care about them and I'm not dating them and like I'm fine and I'm good. I'm not thinking of them and I'm dating someone else. And a little bit of resistance against accepting the fullness of this destiny relationship and trying to kind of run from the feelings and trying to kind of pretend like it's not happening. And then I feel like this actually brings up a lot of spiritual purging of issues of like, you know what? Actually, the first time I felt this way was with my mom, you know, when I was little, or my dad or whatever. And I felt really abandoned. And that's why I panic when I'm in relationships. And it's actually very healing, but it's kind of like all this stuff is going to come up at first and it might even feel a little unpleasant. But I do feel like it ultimately benefits you guys so much. And if you can move through this, which since this is a marriage reading, I assume you do, I feel like you guys are going to be so calm with each other. And it's going to be like you have all these tools to really have this beautiful relationship and like talk productively about things and be really calm and loving with each other. And I think sometimes just all of us in general in relationships, we can kind of try to have control of things. Like I want the relationship to look like this, you know, I don't want to date someone who's Mr. Popular and he's talking to all these chicks, or I don't want to date a girl that XYZ, I don't know. And then it's like realizing that we can't really control our partner. We can control our reactions to things and we can try to see the best in them. And if we trust them deep down, then we can kind of be like, I don't sign off on everything they do. But obviously there's levels of like someone doing really unethical behavior. But for the most part, I'm going to try to see the best in them. I'm going to really support them, and both parties coming into it with that willingness. And if you do, I feel like it's like limitless possibility. Like you guys can have this just beautiful, incredible, high vibrational relationship. So more cards. So let me pull from this deck. So we got Cat, a two-faced friend, Needle and Thread, a sincere wish will be granted, Dragon, beware of self-delusion, Hand, in need of help, assistance, and guidance, Fan, romance, celebration, party, Torch, spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. So if any of these symbols mean anything to you, then definitely take that as confirmation. Some of you guys could be dragons, the year of the dragon in Chinese astrology. So I believe that's 1988, 2000. 1976 and 1964 and 1952. And I'm really bad at math, so I could be miscalculating. But anyway, if that is you, then definitely take that as confirm. But yeah, I feel like it's like you guys are wishing and hoping on each other for a really long time before it manifests into reality. But it's really amazing when it does. And I do feel like maybe it is through a friend who introduces you guys, and maybe someone's dating someone's friend, which might seem shady. But I mean, if that's love, that's love. Like, you can't control where love comes in. And obviously, it's really important to do things ethically and like not be, cheating while you're in a relationship. But if you're in love with someone, if you are in a relationship and then you fall in love, and those things are tricky, and maybe you can extricate yourself in an ethical and honorable way before starting anything. But if those emotions go so deep, then I don't know, I just feel like your connection, you guys, is very spiritual. And I feel like once you guys get together, there's a very romantic vibe. And I mean, like, really romantic. Like, it's not just, even though you do have the sexuality, there's also this deep romance between the two of you of just really, like, I feel like you guys, when you do the romance, you ramp it up to like 11. You would have like the chocolates and the champagne, and like probably people would stare at you when you guys are out at a restaurant, because when you can just feel like the heat between a couple. Maybe I'm just a creep, but sometimes I'll see a couple out and I'm like, oh, you can just feel this like spiritual love energy between them. Like, obviously I'm not some creeper staring down random couples, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes you can feel like something special, between a couple, and you're like, wow, that's a good looking couple, or like, wow, they seem really in love, just the way he's staring at her, and I feel like people would say that about you guys for sure. But again, with the spiritual development coming through with this, they might help you with something. I could see that being like almost like there's a stalemate, or if you guys are that relationship where like you guys kind of bicker at work, or there's like a, like contentiousness at first, and then maybe you need help with something, and this person contacts you and is like, hey, like, I saw on social media you're dealing with XYZ, like, can I help? And that's the icebreaker. But I feel like this person, like, once you guys move past this, like, this is such Scorpio vibes, because Scorpio will be like so harsh and come off as really harsh to people, but they are the ultimate ride or die that like you absolutely want on your team. So loyal to the end. You just can't let them think you betrayed them, because then they'll be vengeful. But when they like trust you and they know that you're in it with them, like, they will absolutely do anything for you. Okay, so we got calling in your soulmate, romantic feelings, let go of control issues, forgiving and learning, unrequited love, and healing family issues. So like I said, healing family issues, let go of control issues, forgiving and learning. I think we've covered all of that. Like, it's just like there's so much healing going on. There's so much learning and self-growth happening in this relationship before you guys really make things happen. I think the romantic feelings exist for a while, and it almost might be a situation where one or both of you assume it's unrequited love and are like, oh, they don't feel the same way about me. Like, we're just friends. Like, they don't even notice me like that. And doesn't realize that it's reciprocated, and doesn't realize, and I just noticed this just flipped over to be the nodes, which I was bringing up earlier. So it's like there is a destiny component to this. Like, I feel like this is a very fated type of relationship, with calling in your soulmate. Like, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if this was a past life relationship or something. It just seems to have that heat, that intensity. So I want to get some more messages from pile four's future spouse. Messages from pile four's future spouse. We got, I want to protect you. We have the same sense of humor. Okay. I know you've been hurt in the past. You are so beautiful. What are the messages from pile four's future spouse? I love the family we've created. So they might want to create a family with you. I am in awe of you. I want to travel the world with you. I can't help but be jealous at the thought of you as someone else. I dream about you. Wow. This is very intense. Like, I just feel that You guys definitely have a really deep connection, and the feelings are really, really strong. There is some jealousy here. I mean, it's definitely Scorpio. That's part and parcel of Scorpio. Um, but they want to protect you and take care of you. And I feel like sometimes they might even put up that front at first of like, that's why there's contentiousness or something, because it's like they don't know how to express how deeply they feel. And they kind of are hurt maybe that you're not, you don't seem to reciprocate as much or something. So they put up a front of like, I don't care. I'm not into you anyway. But they really are in love. It just feels like there's so much depth of emotion, and sometimes that can be a lot to handle. Sometimes that can be pretty scary, you know, especially to someone who's been hurt in the past. But I feel like you guys both help each other heal. So it's ultimately really positive, but I think there's just stuff to be worked out, and then it's like, wow, we really did it. We have one of these, I love hearing like legendary love stories, you know, where like high school sweethearts that like get back together in a nursing home. I'm like, oh my God, it's so romantic. So it does happen all the time, you know. Hopefully it won't take that long. I see that your person wants to create a family with you, so if they're bringing that up, I definitely think that it's going to happen at an age when you guys can maybe have kids together. So probably like 20s, 30s, 40s. I'm not necessarily feeling like that much older, so I would say it could happen any age. 20s, 30s, 40s, later. I'm not getting a specific age range for this group, which I did for all the other age groups, but I feel like so much of it is just about working this out, you know, and like your own individual timeline of the healing and the fixing things. So if you guys want some additional guidance, definitely check out that link to Keen in my bio. They have amazing vetted psychics and tarot readers, and they can help you and tune into your individual energy. And they're fantastic. So I highly recommend them, or you can always book a reading with me. But yeah, I think that's about it, you guys. So let me know how it resonates in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. And you can check out my Patreon too if you want, because I do have some 18 plus readings, and can tell there's some 18 plus energy going on here for sure. So anyway, I'm sending you guys so much love and light. Also, make sure you're subscribed, have the notifications on, turn the bell on, and yeah, I think that's about it. So I'm sending you guys lots of love. I will see you guys in the next reading. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you then. Bye.